COVID-19 cases are increasing in St. Lucia. As of January 28, 2021, we have passed 1,000 cases with 13 COVID-related deaths. Some people are putting the blame on the CMO and the Alan Shastney government. But St. Lucia, let me remind you that on October 2nd, 2020, St. Lucia had recorded 28 cases and no COVID-related deaths. By November 12, 2020, the number of cases had ballooned to 148, with 2 known COVID-related deaths. Something had happened during this period. Now, I really need to go back to September 29th, 2020, when the Alan Shastney government tried to have the COVID-19 Prevention and Control Bill passed into law. That bill sought to put measures in place to keep all of us safe. Guess what, St. Lucia? Some who seemingly had no regard for our well-being had all kinds of derogatory things to say. The bill was referred to as draconian. People who should have known better stated that the bill was infringing on the rights of citizens. In fact, the Bar Association called for the bill to be deferred pending public consultation. According to the release from the Bar Association, and I quote, "We should under no circumstances accept a compromise of our rights and civil liberties due to this lack of understanding of the necessity of public consultation, our democracy, and the rule of law." End of quote. Some said there was no COVID cases here, so why such a bill? They asked, why have a bill lasting for 2 years? The opposition parliamentarians walked out of the House and did not participate in the passage of that important piece of legislation. It was a good thing there were enough government parliamentarians in the House to ensure that this crucial bill was passed. At the Senate level, you will remember that the opposition senators boycotted the proceedings and the independent senators fell ill. Fortunately, the bill was passed in the Senate thanks to the temporary appointments of 2 independent senators. The bill then became law. These senators were called all kinds of names. They were referred to as traitors of the Constitution. In fact, some wannabe lawyers who never went to law school spoke of people being sued, that the bill was unconstitutional and would be challenged in court. What stupidity! Just for the sake of politics? The Alan Shastney government was classified as dictators just because they were planning for the future. The senators were threatened just because they assisted in putting measures in place to ensure the health and safety of all of us. Some said there was no COVID, so they planned big demonstrations, large crowds standing shoulder to shoulder, no social distancing, no wearing of masks, and those who had masks were wearing them like chin diapers. So, who could forget the largest protest march St. Lucia ever had? People had their boat rides, had pool parties, had dinner parties, congregating in bars. They did all of that because they were of the view that there was no COVID here, and Shastney and the CMO did not know what they were talking about. As the Lucian saying goes, mille point. Look at now. The government had the foresight to put these measures in place, not for 1 week or for 1 month, but for 2 years, because they were astute enough to think long term. They are not sand castle planners like some others. So guess what? These same people now have the audacity to blame the CMO, calling her all kinds of derogatory names. Did she encourage you to have your parties? While she was up all night working on ways to save our lives, some of you were doing your partying, so stop the hypocrisy. Stop blaming her and the Alan Chastanet government for the increase in cases. You believe this, St. Lucia? They're looking to blame anything and anybody but themselves. So much work has gone into trying to ensure that we remain safe. Hundreds of people are working to keep all of us safe. They are only asking you to follow the protocols. At one time, St. Lucia was seen as one of the leaders in the handling of the COVID-19 pandemic. But believe it or not, some people seemingly did not want this. Let me tell you, St. Lucia, there is a phenomenon called the self-fulfilling prophecy, in which people predict that something will happen, and it happens. So, for example, someone might say that St. Lucia is the worst prepared country with respect to COVID-19, then behave in ways which will cause that thing to happen, and when it happens, they boast, "I had told you so." Those of you who are blaming the CMO and the Alan Chastanet government for the increase in cases and the handling of the pandemic, just stop it. Stop the hypocrisy. Those of you who are now saying, let's follow Barbados and the stringent measures implemented there, just look yourselves in the mirror and ask, why did I cut my nose to spite my face? St. Lucia, please adhere to the instructions from the Ministry of Health. Don't wait until COVID reaches home for you to take it seriously. This virus is no respecter of political affiliation. That being said, let me express my profound appreciation to the CMO and her team, and of course, the Alan Chastanet government for their stellar leadership. This is Jacinta Annusley with my take on this issue.
As always, our two statesmen in the persons of Sir Michael Chastanet and Mr. Peter Josey, and we would like to say a beautiful morning to our two gentlemen. Gentlemen, good morning once again.
Morning, Mr. Champagne. Morning, Mr. Champagne. Morning, St. Lucia.
Hi, Champagne. Good morning, and good morning, listeners. Good morning.
Yes, we want to.
St. Lucie.
You look very bright. I want a shirt like that. Yeah. I love the color.
Wonderful. I thought I'd be different and flare it up a bit this morning.
It's very, very beautiful.
Yeah.
I want to say thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
So you have your preamble this morning? Or?
Yeah, I have my preamble, but before I deliver my preamble, I want to have a little discussion with my partner.
Yeah.
I've been listening very carefully to what has been going on subsequent to the Prime Minister's contribution yesterday and the day before about the virus and the indiscipline of people in St. Lucia.
Yeah.
You know, the indiscipline doesn't come only with the virus, Champagne, because if you're a guy, you go to the south of the island regularly,
all the
you
time.
drive down.
Yeah.
You see what's happening on the roads. Mm-hmm. These motorcyclists with one wheel in the air.
Yes, sir.
You know, Champagne, I leave my house and I head to Mega J's roundabout, which is probably a 4-minute drive or 3-minute drive. Mm-hmm. In that short space of time, at least 5 people will overtake me.
My goodness.
I don't know what is it with St. Lucians today with that speeding and the accident they're having. Look at front by Sanders there, the bus shelter torn down.
Yes, somebody
broad daylight. You know, what I'm just saying, people can have an accident, but what is going on today? It's ridiculous.
It is.
You have the violence in St. Lucia going on at a rate, okay? I mean, people are having a discussion, you take a knife or a gun and you shoot the person, okay? You're speeding and having car accidents. What they don't, all these areas is a cost to the country.
Yes, sir.
Because 99% of them can't afford to go. You have to send an ambulance for them, pick them up, bring them to the OKU, operate on them, take away the valuable time of the nurses and the doctors to do something which was not necessary.
It's true.
And you know it's happening every weekend, Champagne.
Yes.
Yes. How can this continue as a nation?
I remember, I brought my daughter to the hospital, and at the same time the ambulance came with a gun, someone who suffered a gunshot wound. And the doctor at the time had to leave whatever patient they had to attend to this individual.
Yeah.
Now, you cannot just leave that individual there with a bullet in his body.
Yeah.
You have to attend to him. But I'm saying, like you said, this was unnecessary.
You know, Champagne, in my view, discipline has been thrown out of the window in St. Lucia. I mean, I don't know what the Prime Minister can do. I don't know what St. Lucians, what other contributions they can offer. I called a very intelligent lady this morning and had a long discussion with her. And she said to me, that was her opinion, not my opinion, that the buck stands with the police. They have to take the necessary action against those people. You know what I mean? I'm saying that sometimes I happen to drive in the evening, say 7, 8 o'clock, especially now with the partial lockdown that we have on the close to that Castries Highway. The speed these guys are moving at, I think if 1 or 2 policemen just stand up at certain points, okay, and stop those guys, because it's a cost to the nation.
Yes.
It cannot go on. You know, people do foolishness all their lives, but one day you have to say, enough is enough.
Yeah.
When is it going to stop? Who is going to take the necessary action to stop those people? Because we are all suffering from it.
All of us.
You can drive, look at your car.
Yeah.
Your car was parked at your home,
Parked.
okay, quietly,
Yeah.
not even moving.
Not even moving.
Leave you without a car.
1 o'clock in
There's
the
a
morning.
cost to the insurance or whoever has to give you a car, and look what it's going to cost.
Yes.
And that was unnecessary.
Unnecessary.
But it happens over and over and over. When happened at a weekend?
On the last day of the year.
There you go.
Yeah,
You
last
know?
day of the year,
Yeah.
Friday morning,
Now,
1 o'clock.
Okay, that's one thing that I want to address. The second thing is, I have no proof what I'm going to tell you, but I read on Facebook what is happening to all those parties they had over the
Christmas
New Year's
season,
or
yeah.
Christmas, okay? Now, here's what I'm hearing. 3 lawyers gave 3 parties,
Wow.
yeah? I understand that 1 lawyer has actually paid the fine. Now, that particular lawyer, if it is indeed correct, okay, is an intelligent guy. Why can't you not think for a moment? There are many, Christmas comes every year, Champagne.
year.
Every year.
Yes, it
for the
does.
last how many 100 years?
That's right.
Christmas is on the 25th of December.
Yeah.
What is the big hullabaloo of downgrading Christmas this year? They were warned. Look at the statistics. Not only in St. Lucia, but in Barbados too. They chalked up some 600 cases.
Wow.
Over that period. You know, all unnecessary. All unnecessary. You know, this is what I'm saying to St. Lucia, and I'm sure my partner may want to say a few words before I do my preamble.
Yeah.
But it is very worrying, and I only hope that St. Lucia, that the authorities can sit back in this coming year and address the violence. There has to be a cure for this thing.
Yes, yes.
At least if you can't stop it, reduce on it.
You have to
Yeah.
reduce it on it, definitely.
Traffic and violence.
Yeah.
And of course, I don't know what we're going to do with those people and the pandemic. I listened to somebody making a contribution to Norbert this morning, and he was saying, Brother Norbert, second testing and close the borders.
Yeah.
But he's just repeating like a parrot what he heard outside.
Yeah.
There's no essence in what he's saying at all. Right?
And the second testing is not proven to be working.
Correct,
It's
you know.
not at work. It has not worked.
As Norbert said to them, the virus is all over the world.
This is.
It's all over the world,
Yes, sir.
right? St. Lucia is not isolated. Close the borders. When you close the borders, is it going to go away? It's not going to go. As the Prime Minister has repeated over and over, COVID is here to stay. Let me tell you something. We have hurricanes every year.
Yeah.
What do? We prepare for the
Prepare
hurricanes.
for the hurricanes.
Hurricanes will come. They will continue to come. And we have to continue to prepare for them.
Yeah.
Okay? You have droughts that come. You have to work with that. The same thing with the virus. The virus comes probably once every 100 years. You
Yeah.
know that,
Yes,
okay?
yes.
So during that period when it's around, take care of yourself and take away the pressures on the government for all this thing.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And before you go to Mr. Peter, in regards to the police,
Yes.
and you know we have the program with the police every Thursday.
Yes.
And I asked the question to the police officers what they think about police patrol throughout the entire country. And they said it would work 1,000,000%. This is St. Lucia's problem.
Yeah. Well, why is it not being done, Champagne?
Well, that is a great question we need to ask.
You know,
Police patrol is key. It will reduce. It's not going to stop crime, but I believe in my heart it will reduce
Champagne, let me
crime.
say something to you. We have so many young, intelligent guys today, very good with technology.
Yeah.
The smartphones. You don't even need a speed gun anymore. With the smartphone today, I have proposed and said it over and over, they should take at least 50 to 60 intelligent guys
Yeah.
from the different schools, the bright guys who are good at technology. You give them one police officer to 3 guys, okay? And they can check the speed of those things and show the guys and start arresting those people. Yeah. Because what I'm trying to say, you and I leave our home in good faith.
Yeah.
If I leave my home to come to the station, why on God's earth I should be exposed to a lunatic on the road to disable me?
Yeah.
If they kill me, it's fine, I'll be gone. But when they disable you,
Yeah, that's the
you
difference.
end up in
Yeah,
pain.
that's right.
It's costly. Your life is screwed up, okay? We have to view it from that angle. It has to stop.
It has to stop.
Yeah,
It
thank
has
you.
to stop. Go ahead, mister. You have a response. I know you do.
I have to laugh, not a response. I have to laugh because I love to see people speaking with emotion.
That's right.
You know, I love to see Sir Michael Shastri because
Yeah.
you have to speak with feelings for people to understand
Yeah.
you. I have had an interesting life so far. About 25 years ago, maybe 25 years ago, I had a discussion with Martin Carrasco. I knew him well, you know, Rick Wayne's younger brother,
Yeah.
who was
He
right up
the
in the
police
force.
commissioner. Yeah.
And Martin told me once, Peter, the thing is changing on the road. 20 years ago, we had probably half the vehicles we have now. But Martin had already seen how difficult policing all of these drivers would be. He suggested something that I want to suggest to the hierarchy of the police force, maybe starting with the minister responsible, if he is listening. We do not have to have a policeman in every corner of the street if we have to do it properly, according to Martin. What we need is police vehicles with 2 or 3 policemen, okay, at strategic points. For example, we can start with an experiment on the Grosile Castries Road.
Yeah.
Because this carries a lot more traffic than the average place elsewhere. Another place that carries a lot of traffic and there are a lot of accidents is between Bexon and Castries. So we can begin, the police, when I say we, I mean St. Lucians, the police can begin with at least 3 or 4 vehicles in strategic points. And again, because of what Sir Michael just said, with the communications we have now, those 3 or 4 police vehicles are in constant touch and they work around the clock. So when your 7 or 8 hours are up, another group of people come and take over from you. When I say round the clock, I don't
Yes.
mean 2 people or 3 policemen working 24 hours.
yeah.
That's not what I'm talking about. And I believe this is one way of doing it. So there's always a police presence on the road. Now, there's a kind of reverse psychology on the other matter of the accidents, the fast driving. There's a kind of reverse psychology I read somewhere years ago. I don't know if it's applicable to St. Lucia today, but I will tell you for what it's worth so that you can at least think about it. The writer of that thing was a psychologist, and he said, you know, when people begin to drive fast and enjoying themselves, partying and things, so what it says to him from the studies that he and his colleagues did is that the people feel free, they enjoy themselves, and it is a reflection of their confidence in the government, whichever the government. Of course, I don't even know if the people who wrote that, I don't even know if they knew St. Lucia existed. So that stuck in my mind that when people are happy and they feel free, like at Christmas time, they party, you don't have to be an educated person like a lawyer or a poor person. It is a time of the year when St. Lucians celebrate. Pele has a very nice calypso on this. Tradicional.
Yeah.
And I'm just throwing it out to say that we have to be extra careful, especially at Christmas time, because normally St. Lucians enjoy Christmas. And I am not surprised that Sir Michael will point to 3 lawyers who are educated people. You know why? Because the culture trumps education. You can be as educated as you want. You can go to America. I'm sure everybody listening to me now and to you, Champagne, and to Sir Mike, know the joke about the crab and the guy who put his hand in the gun.
Yes.
He had been to England and forget about crab.
Yeah.
Okay? As soon as the crab bit his finger and held it, and you know the crabs can bite very hard.
Yeah.
He started bawling, pieces, yay, pieces, yay. All the time you know it's pieces, yay, and you're trying to yank as if you just come freshwater Yankee. So the culture kicked in when he felt hurt.
Yeah.
And that is what is happening to us in St. Lucia. A lot of people now, and our friend Norbert is very famous and can do it well. I do it without thinking. Switch sometimes from English into Creole because my native culture kicks in. So that is something to watch, but that does not give anybody permission to drive the kind of wreck. I sometimes feel threatened on the roads, you know, when I'm driving. I feel threatened.
Yeah, yeah. Well, wait until you have to go down to VA4. Okay, so Michael, back to you with your preamble for today.
Okay. So today, the heading of my preamble is the combination of indiscipline and misinformation.
Mm-hmm.
I repeat, the combination, not the one, two of them, the combination of indiscipline and misinformation. As the 2021 elections remain in sight, more and more misinformation will emerge. Sean Edwards has always been seen as a kind of level-headed individual, but his most recent comments has certainly dealt a blow to that image. These comments have come on the heels of his significant recognition and support to the CMO and her team when he classified her setup as world-class. But despite his belief, the hardcore Red Brigade have now convinced him otherwise. The opposition today remains between a rock and a hard place, as on one hand, they generally accept the fact that the CMO and her team have done an incredible job, while on the other hand, they need to somehow discredit the government for the same achievements that she proposed. Does that make any sense? Unfortunately, there are many areas in government when and where the opposition could have made themselves meaningful without resorting to non-starters, thereby causing the independent voter to judge a candidate or a party on a non-starter basis. The COVID situation is currently at its peak the world over, with scientists and physicians scratching their heads 24/7 to get to the bottom of a virus which has eluded the top brains in this field. While on the other hand, immature politicians at home take to the airwaves announcing their own predictions in the hope of seeking attention. This week, major countries throughout Europe and US have taken drastic decisions regarding their schools, business houses, and government offices in an effort to address the spread of COVID-19. These are countries with top-class universities and medical centers grasping at every possibility to penetrate the behavior of that elusive virus, which has now commenced a third stage. All these nations are now in their wits' end, as their economies, which have been severely impacted, are now heading to a virtual collapse. The economies of both Europe and US are remaining afloat by printing trillions of dollars and euros. But the big question remains, what is the return likely to bring on this investment? I read this morning that the main airport in Israel has been closed.
Wow.
President Biden has today disclosed that the US needs to start again from scratch by putting as many Americans as possible to work to rebuild the country from a manufacturing and infrastructural standpoint. And this is exactly what our Prime Minister said. Mm-hmm. You cannot sit back. Now is the time. Put your people to work and get something out of them. The infrastructure will present itself at the end of the pandemic and be ready to move.
Yes.
America, Biden has just come in and is doing exactly that.
Right.
Biden further indicates that the manufacturing and infrastructure, under these conditions, the president expects these workers to have money in their pockets and place the country in a position to be ready when the pandemic releases its stranglehold. The scenario commenced in Singapore and has gone on for the past 10 months. And this strategy appears to be the most intelligent approach, as citizens working automatically get its infrastructure in return. This philosophy has also been adopted here in St. Lucia, and the government needs to be congratulated for that sensible initiative. It is regrettable, however, that the opposition has never been able to comprehend such a philosophical approach. But on the other hand, they have advocated that money should be simply doled out in the form of welfare programs. This format has been prioritized time and time again, but unfortunately, individuals who have never operated a business or closely associated to a business do not possess the skills and reasoning or preparations prior to any massive downturn. The concern by many regarding the opening of our borders has to be viewed from two angles. A small nation like St. Lucia and its Caribbean neighbors do not have the luxury of a lockdown, as when 50% or more of our production workers are out of work, major damage to our economy will remain permanently damaged. In other words, what it has taken years to construct can be greatly dismantled in the twinkle of an eye. Consequently, we must endeavor at all times to save what we have built and achieved. The closure of pubs and withdrawal of liquor license must not be viewed as a cure to those ills. Our overindulgence in alcohol is an illness, and we must face the fact it is an illness, and St. Lucians need to address that problem, as it not only affects lives and livelihoods during a pandemic, but it's an ongoing cost to our medical system. Additionally, this overindulgence creates an influx at our medical institutions. St. Lucia would be amazed to learn of the number of our citizens undergoing dialysis treatment on a daily basis. To keep the body fit while undergoing treatment, there's an approximate cost of $600 per week for 3 treatments recommended by the physicians. Now imagine that, Champion. A person who can ill afford to pay the $600 has to be born with our taxpayers' money and take away that extra facility from people who genuinely have a problem. How many of us can afford this level of treatment? But the sad part is the patient never gets cured. What quality of life do patients have during that period? All this could be totally different by St. Lucians living a moderate life, free of alcohol abuse. Hear what I said? I didn't say free of alcohol. Free of alcohol abuse.
That's right.
Similarly, today, the wearing of a mask and avoiding clusters will place us in a safer position, but we must have the determination and discipline in accomplishing a healthier lifestyle, which we should never take for granted. Champagne, this is my preamble today.
Yes.
And
yes.
I thank you.
All right, well said. And to Mr. Peter.
Yes, Champagne, good morning again, listeners, and Sir Michael, a special good morning to you. It's interesting that you should mention Sean, because I thought he did a very manly and gentlemanly thing when he made his statement very early about the CMO. And even before that, I was speaking to someone of my blood and family, and at least 2 others. And I said to them, the only person I saw on the horizon is a friend and a brother whose name I cannot mention now because he is not an elected member. He has not been in politics for a little while. But I know he's a strong member and supporter of the Labour Party. I would choose him as a leader if the Labour Party wanted to go forward. And the other person I paid a lot of attention and respect to was Sean Edward. I thought, even in the present situation, it is my honest belief that Sean would be a better political leader than any of the people that are presently there right now. That is my personal opinion. And I was disappointed when, the quality that you need in a leader, Champagne and Sir Michael, in my humble opinion, and I can only state my opinion, is someone who does not cower easily, who is not afraid, who is not scared, even when everybody seems to be going against what you think, for you to fold up your tent, be meek and humble, and say, yes, I think that's right, when in your heart of hearts, you don't really think so. Because I go back to the main thing in life, a supreme creator, a spiritual being, something that you have inside of you, that you didn't put, your mother and father didn't put there, but you were born with it. And when you feel that spiritual pull to see something in a particular way and to say what you see truthfully, without offending anybody, I think it makes you less than a person, man or woman, if you do not express it in a nice way to say, listen, I've heard what you guys are saying. I don't believe it to be true. I think the virus is real. I think the CMO is doing the best job he can. We do not support Alan Chastanet as Prime Minister, but in the circumstances, I, Sean Edwards, believe he's doing a good job, or as good a job as he can. And if I was in his place, I would be doing the same thing and saying basically the same thing that he's saying.
But can you say that among that camp, Brother Peter?
But that's the point I'm making.
That's
the point I'm making. It takes a lot of courage to do it. And if people are opposed to you, even when you're in the same party, then obviously you have a choice. You know what to do. You know you are in the wrong group of people. And that maybe the grand geometrician of the universe, the great I am, God, Allah, Jehovah, Jesus, is the one leading you to get out of that group. So I didn't come here to preach to Sean or for him or speak on his behalf. All I can say is that I heard what Sir Michael heard, and I'm disappointed in him. And I don't think anyone, any of us, starting from me, you, whoever, is beyond redemption. And I think there's sufficient time for a man like Sean, who has leadership potential, in my humble opinion, to come out and say, listen, guys, this thing is serious. In the same way that Dr. Anthony did. I heard he got a lot of blows. If I was one of the early persons who commented on him, I might have said the same thing, especially when I realized he was doing it for a particular purpose. But I said it's better for him to have done it late than not to have done it at all. And it was interesting last night watching Norbert Williams to see Dr. Anthony in this crowded place. And nobody has asked him to apologize, and I will not do that now. I don't need anybody's apology. But we need to know that when you're in politics, oh, it's a dirty game, it's this and that. It's we who make it dirty. We who enter politics dirty that make politics dirty. If you enter politics as a clean, honest, and honorable man or woman, you will not be stained by it. You will stand up. You will not go and put your hands in people's money, take their money, put in account something a lot of the people who study law and pretend to be representing people do. You don't do that. And politics does not cause you to do it. As a matter of fact, politics puts a greater responsibility on you, because so many people who voted for you are looking towards you for what we call in Creole, there's a nice Creole word called soulagement. Okay? It means a relief from all of the things that are troubling you, especially a financial relief. So it is important for us to make that point, or for me to make that point. I didn't want to leave the Labour Party. I never had intentions of leaving. But when you are treated and kicked around as if you're a child for expressing your own opinion, when your own people are saying, oh, we don't want Peter because he's a black power this and black power that, and promoting blackness and things, so, you know.
Same blackness, huh?
And guess what? That day when Julian became political leader, 1992, at Labrie, I actually went downstairs. Rick Wayne, who is around, still with us, was there. Mano, Pearson Emmanuel, who was at Beaufort, I don't even know where Pearson is, probably in Chicago with his daughter, and Citon. Everybody knows Citon. Those three gentlemen were together with Lawson, Calder, and myself. And I say, Lawson, let's go and congratulate Julian Hunt. He's just been elected political leader of the Labour Party. When we reached halfway going down the corridor on the side of the school, Julian was on stage. And he said, where are these guys going to? We don't want these fellas in our party. Man, I was so embarrassed. I had to pull my tail between my legs. Before I reached downstairs, all my delegates from Vieux-Fort were with me. And they came in a transit. They arranged their transport. These guys were strong followers of Labour. The main man there was Aitor, who unfortunately has been called to the great beyond. Aitor is probably looking down at me now, knowing that I'm speaking the truth. And Aitor said to me, Peter, nous ka kite ici actuellement, nous ka joindre comme ton avec Girodi. Vous ka joindre actuellement. Me dit, bon Dieu, Aitor, c'est pas comme ça, la café. No, we can't do that, fellas. Calm down, calm down, calm down. So what I did after we were before, we had a little powwow between us. I said, you know what? I used to sit next to Julian in Parliament. He was a political leader and leader of the opposition. And I sat to his left. We spoke, changed ideas, why the house is going on. I removed myself from there. We had 7 members at the time, and I went in the chair of the 7th, and I asked everybody to move up a little. So I distanced myself, and everybody could see. At the time, I didn't know Sir John was going to leave. Sir John left. He gave way to Vaughan, both as political leader and prime minister. Vaughan Lewis, whom I knew at St. Mary's College, we are not in the same form. Vaughan was about 2 forms ahead of me. His brother, Ronald, was house captain of Abercrombie, and that was my house. Vaughan called me one day and said, Peter, I want to have a chat with you. And he said to me, listen, Sir John is going to give up. I'm going to become prime minister and political leader. I want you to come and help me to fix that banana business. I said, Vaughan, you have to give me some time. I still was not convinced that I should leave the Labour Party and go and join. And once I had worked with Vaughan, everybody would know. Eventually, I said, you know something? I don't think I can go back to the Labour Party. I told Vaughan I'd come. He said, I'll make you minister in the Ministry of Agriculture. I said, boy, let me tell you something. I ain't want to be under anybody, you know. I was a full minister with Alan Rizzi. He said, no, don't worry about that. Dover is an office man. He's a lawyer, as you know. You will be the field man first, and you will be getting the same salary as thing. Your pension and everything will be the same as a full minister, because that is what I want you to be. I said, in this situation, I will come. And Champagne is a good thing I did, because the year I spent with Vaughan Lewis is what entitled me to a pension as a parliamentarian. You see how the Lord works? That was the furthest thing from my mind, Champagne. I wasn't reckless, but I wasn't thinking of Peter Josie. I mean, who the hell is Peter Josie? I die today or tomorrow. People might remember me because subsequent to that, I've done things that they will remember me by, including my writing. This morning I told you I came here and I had to go down the road, just lower down, to collect something from an editor of mine. Because what I did, I collated all of the things that I've been writing over the last 20 years into a book. So this is going to be my legacy. And people can say what they want about me and the politics. I will tell you, Champagne, I believe I have been very blessed.
Yeah.
I've been very fortunate. And when Sir Mike and yourself asked me to come here, I didn't ask how much you were going to pay me.
Well, there's no money.
That's the point. I didn't ask how much I was going to be paid. Sir Mike asked me. I said, Sir Mike, and he's right there. I said, Sir Michael, I will come only if you are going to be there.
Yeah.
I don't want anything from anything anymore. What I want is to be able to speak the truth to St. Lucians, to tell them that the nonsense the Labour Party is doing is not going to take us anywhere.
Yeah.
If Dr. Anthony, and I don't want to be picking on him, I knew who Dr. Anthony was 30 years ago. So I'm not picking on him. But I'm saying, if as a political leader and prime minister, you are prime minister for 15 years, you are serving Vieux-Fort, where I was born, a place I love, a place my parents were born and grew up. You could have come out earlier and said, listen, supporters of the Labour Party, we have to take this virus seriously. And I would suggest and advise you to follow the protocols the CMO is putting out. If you don't want to listen to Alan Chancellor, fine, that's okay. But listen to the CMO, the Chief Medical Officer. That is what I want you to do as a party. Okay, forget about everything else you have heard. I, Dr. Anthony, am asking you to follow the protocols of the CMO. If Dr. Anthony had done that, we would have been a better place, because the ignoramuses, and I repeat the word, some of them, not all, some of the ignoramuses who are following the Labour Party and listening to Dr. Anthony before he made that statement are some of the same people who need help, who need everything, who are getting hurt sometimes. Okay? So I don't want to get emotional over this, but I'm saying that we have to work together on that coronavirus. It is not about Alan Chastanet, Sir Michael Chastanet, or Peter Josie, or Champagne. It is about all of the people of St. Lucia working together to fight the coronavirus. Sakwivezo, Tetzo, and Wed.
The enemy is COVID-19.
The enemy is COVID-19, not Alan Chastanet or Michael Chastanet or Kenny Anthony.
All day.
Okay?
All day he said it late, but he's the only one that have made such a statement.
That is my point. I was here with you yesterday and I made that point.
Can you believe that? The only one.
It is better late than never.
10 months later.
Yeah.
It's late, but it was made. But he is the only one, he has been the only one from the entire bunch
to make a clear statement.
Who have made a clear statement.
Not even the opposition. Sean Edwards is the one.
So what does that tell you about the party?
Can you believe that?
And that is why at the end of the day, there will also always be a shift, because when you weigh up the people of what they have to offer, apparently he's the only one with some level of intelligence to understand finally what was going on.
Though it's 10 months later, but
it's better late than never. That's the point I made yesterday. And I'm disappointed in Sean because I had so much confidence in Sean as the next leader of the Labour Party.
You made a comment last week here. You said something, I don't know if you recall, that the pressure he had got when he made that statement has been relentless on him.
Yes. Oh yeah, I made a statement like that.
And there's a word Rick Wayne used to use a lot. You have to have gonads to stand this thing in I was there, so I know.
Let me go down another road. We'll just detract for a little bit because it has been on my mind. We all heard about the Range Rover issue and all this kind of stuff with Ernest and the customs and all of that. So there's a court case. We have heard of a court case. There was a date for a court case.
I hope you're not trying the case here.
No. There was a date for the court case, 24th of January. We heard that from last year. The system of St. Lucia sometimes have to be looked into because something is wrong with it, in my own opinion. This is me speaking.
Sure.
How on earth this high-profile case, in my mind, was announced for the 23rd of January, 2021. That was announced somewhere back in November, somewhere there. The case got adjourned, and not one media house came out and let the public know that that case was adjourned. Yeah. I am also hearing that the case, while the customs controller was on his way to the courthouse, along with maybe his lawyer, the case was adjourned, and he did not even know. How is this thing possible?
That's what Sir John will call Coco Macacree. That's something that should be investigated.
But is that legal? I'm not an attorney. I'm just trying to, I'm speaking on behalf of the people of this country. How? Because the expectations of the public, this is a high-profile case. Everyone was expecting to know something about this case. The case got adjourned to somewhere, the 15th of April, I think it is. That's 3 months' time. And not one media house came out and let the St. Lucian public know. Up until now, I've been waiting.
Has Hila himself said anything?
Not a word by anyone.
Not a word, not a word.
How is that possible, Sir Michael? I know you're not an attorney as well, and neither is Peter, but what part of our system?
I'm afraid to comment on that, because I don't know what has happened over the years, and that's not the only case. There's so many cases that go on and are just adjourned and adjourned.
Justice and this is why,
when I was friendly with Sir Vincent Flosac, which was many years ago, when he was the Chief Justice, and he said to me then, we need to move away a bit from the court system and have what you call an arbitration situation, where I think it does exist in St. Lucia, and it's called the Masters or something like that. And what Sir Vincent told me, he said, look at me, the cost to the nation will be reduced drastically at the time, because the court is overloaded with cases, and you have to relieve what the Prime Minister told you when he came in. There are 1,000 cases.
Oh yeah, pending.
Pending.
Yeah.
This is, when people got killed, the English people, St. Lucia took a beating on the press,
British press, okay?
Because of the system, okay? And without a doubt, if the court is overloaded, they should really push for the arbitration sector to take place and offload that stuff, because you can only afford so many judges And remember, Champagne, you know, this system, it's in the Caribbean.
Yeah.
You have all these cases, you have appeal cases, you have all sorts of things going on. And especially now with the pandemic, you have to do this virtual meeting and all that kind of thing. I really cannot answer the question.
But
it's frustrating.
Yeah.
to
I
say
understand
the least.
adjournments. I know there will always be
But I take the
adjournments.
point you make about the media being quiet.
That is the point I'm making.
There's one media house that takes pleasure every evening in asking questions.
Yes.
What do you think? What do you think?
What do you think?
We'll wait and see what they do on that.
And I understand adjournments, like I said. I know there will always be adjournments. My difficulty is why was this was a high
Everybody's
school
quiet,
file
yeah.
case?
Champagne,
Everyone was
you,
expecting to hear
I,
something.
and Mr. Josie can mentally answer that question.
Yeah.
Why lip service? We don't, and I think most of St. Lucia will know, okay? Because people like yourself and Rick Wayne have repeated it time and time again. You only hear certain things coming out.
Yeah.
But, yeah. If
When
it
it's-
was,
when it's about
if
certain
If
people-
it was Alan Chastney,
Yes.
it would be a different story.
Every single new media house will be outside the courthouse.
But you know
So is it
something?
and I want to be real, like nobody always say, keeping it real. Is it a friendship thing? Maybe a former Speaker of the House who was a former Bar
It might
Association
be a
president.
party thing. It might be a party thing that might not have anything to do
But
with
what about the
friendship.
public? The members of the public are waiting.
But the
they have-
party, the party is paramount. That is how it operates in the communist system.
I honestly think, Champagne, I honestly think the system is broken down. Yeah. There may be a bit of what you're saying, but I think the system has been broken down for years. Yeah. It has to be fixed. Let me tell you something. When Dr. Anthony was in power, the problem existed, and a friend of mine living in Canada called me one day and he said, look, Dr. Anthony was in Canada, he was giving a speech at some other place, and a St. Lucian judge in Canada told him, Dr. Anthony, I can send down 3 judges to St. Lucia for you to handle the backlog. And he said to them, well, I can offer you a job. The guy said, I don't want your job.
That's right.
I want to come down for 6 months, help you and clear up the mess. And I think this administration needs to do the same.
Yeah.
They need to clear up the backlog. You have to start again, because if you're inundated, it's like everything else. It's like a man borrowing money. You borrow money, you can't run your business. So what you have to do, you have to go to the bank and consolidate and start afresh.
Yes.
Because you're not going to
You're
move.
not going to go anywhere.
Yeah.
Not
This
going to
how
go
it-
anywhere.
yeah.
Wow. Well, this is sad. But we're going to go. You didn't
Sure.
want to talk about it, but I think it's necessary. And I have had 2 calls
Yeah.
before you came, and
But I take your point. The press should have really
of
brought it
course,
to the attention.
this is
Yeah.
my point.
Yeah.
And Champagne, there's one more thing, Sir Mike. We have to believe, I believe, that philosophically, there is no problem that does not have a solution.
That is true.
None.
I believe that.
So what we are talking about there, so
Yeah.
Michael just gave us an example. The former Prime Minister was actually offered. And I believe this is something that the present Prime Minister, whatever happens after the next elections, I believe he'll still be Prime Minister. That is something he has to try
Yes.
to do.
Well, you have made a start. You have cleared a piece
Whether
of
the
property.
help is from Canada, England, or wherever,
There will be.
get a couple magistrates and judges inside here and try to clear the backlog.
Yeah.
Because justice delayed is justice denied. How can you have people at Bordelais prison for 10 years, 15 years?
Yeah.
That's not right. It's not fair. It's
Now,
not
you
just.
know, in all fairness,
not
Peter,
justice.
2 wrongs don't make a right. But you know what I've learned? All the islands are the same.
Yeah,
Wow.
Yeah. Even a place like Barbados that I had a lot of confidence, it exists there too.
That's why-
Jamaica, Bahamas.
That's why they call them backward third world. And Trump had called them a word I don't want to say.
But what do you think is the problem, Sir Michael? I mean,
What is the problem?
Inefficiency.
I think inefficiency, and over the years, people have allowed these things to fester. Champagne, in life, anything we do and you allow it to fester, you'll pay a very
Yes,
high price.
high price.
I just made an analogy
Yeah.
of a man running a business,
Yes.
and I'm saying what they should do right now is that, and that's just a layman, I'm not a lawyer, I could be totally wrong what I'm saying, but I think they should take a lot of the cases that are easier to solve, because there are a lot of wasted cases in there for nonsense. People
Yeah.
take people to court for foolishness,
Yes.
okay?
Yeah.
Put all those things in one and bring down 3 or 4 judges from away and try those things between that and the arbitration, and relieve the congestion at the courts. It has, because we're living in a system, this brings a lot of anger, Champagne, because tomorrow, you look at, for instance, a good thing, you're sort of a peaceful character. Look at your car,
Yeah.
okay?
Oh, yeah.
Now, I'm sure it has to go to court.
Yes.
I don't know when your case will go to court.
Yeah.
I don't know when it will go to court.
Well, it's not going to go that way because the,
And they've accepted.
the individual's father is very helpful. I'm struggling to get parts. I'm struggling to put it back together.
Yeah.
But the individual father is trying to assist.
Okay.
And my
Well,
insurance.
you were fortunate, you know?
So in that regard. But you know, the
You know, let me tell you something. You take Gablewoods Mall. In the last 5 years, I have about 9 accidents. People flying off the road, mashing up everything. How many times I've been called at my house at midnight or 5 o'clock in the morning? The last one was about maybe 4 months ago. This guy driving, 2 children, a year and a half old in a back seat,
Wow.
drunk, ended up almost in the supermarket. When I went there, I can show you pictures. All the pieces of car scattered all over the place.
and he has
Okay?
2 kids in the car.
Yeah, and fortunately the kids didn't get killed. And when I got there, he's hugging me, the drunkard,
He's-
and telling me,
Oh my
yeah,
goodness.
man, I'm sorry about that, you know.
That's what he said.
Yeah, and you know something? It has never gone to court. It never found itself in the court, okay? What did I have to do? I have, my security now have been trained that when these things take place, they have to take their cameras, take the picture of the car, get the licenses, get the insurance companies, and that's another thing government needs to do. You go down to Soufrière, to Beaufort on a weekend.
Yeah.
Every time you go down, you see part of a bridge damage
Oh, yeah.
or something damaged.
Yeah.
What should happen, Champagne, when these things happen? They should get the license plate of the car and go to the insurance. Government should not be taking our tax money to go and do these damages.
And with that, it will allow the drivers to be more cautious.
Correct.
Yeah. If people are paid.
Every time these people do these things, they should have a point system like they have in the States to sort of penalize those people. Because if the man can just mash up his stuff, get another car and go, he's going to do it again.
Yeah.
And Sir Michael, you know, and Champagne, you know what is of interest to me when I hear these things, I see them myself. The question that is uppermost in my mind is, I wonder if this guy is a taxpayer. I wonder if they pay taxes.
Probably not. As a matter of fact, just the last incident we had at the mall, it was not even his car. He was driving his girlfriend's car, who lives in London, a St. Lucian, okay? And the car only had third party. That means the poor lady, $60,000 car, gone.
Yes, she's lost that.
Yeah. And this guy, happy-go-lucky,
Yeah.
you know?
And he gave you a hug.
I'll give it up.
And that hug is supposed to
My
cure
goodness,
that
supposed
hug
to
was supposed to cure everything,
Help
right?
everything out. Yeah. Anyway, I didn't want to go down that road because I know it's really prophetic, but I have to do it because some people called in and say, well, it makes Sir Michael say things that is untrue. So somebody said that they were watching the Creole program yesterday, and the photograph you had with the 6-year-old, and what came out on the program, boy, I tell you, what came out of the program is they made a phone call to the kid's mom.
Right.
But you never met the kid's mom, you met the kid's grandma.
No, yeah.
You met the mom as well.
Actually, let me just repeat what happened.
What they were saying,
I was in the supermarket,
Yeah.
okay? And the mom was there with a daughter, and there were 2 daughters, the
Yeah.
little child and her sister.
Yes.
The sister was quite,
A little older.
A lot older,
Yeah.
okay? And she said to me, Mr. Chasney, there is a child that adores the Prime Minister.
That's the mom saying that.
The mom saying
Okay.
that, okay? And I had a chat with her, and after talking a couple of minutes, I felt it made a very good story,
Yes.
okay? So I took a picture with the kid. I spoke to the kid to ensure that what the mother said, I said, what is it you like about it? She said, I like to see the Prime Minister.
Yes.
And the mother said to me, every time the Prime Minister comes on, this child wants to be there. And she further stated that when the child goes to school, the child insists on putting yellow ribbons in her hair.
Wow.
Okay?
Wow.
I thought it was a lovely story.
Yes.
Okay? And I was tempted, as you know, to bring the child
I remember,
here.
and we had a discussion
Yeah,
on
but
that.
I said no.
Yes,
The child is only 6 years.
Yes.
I'm not going to put any political pressure on the child.
You remember
okay?
we had a conversation on that, yes.
And, the story has been twisted.
Yeah, it has.
And but Champagne, I promise you that I'm not going to discuss this
Yes,
matter.
you did promise me
because
that.
it's an incident which took place. It had its time. You prolong this thing there, they'll just aggravate and embarrass the family. I'd rather say no more on the story. I still love the kid. As a matter of fact, the mother told me that the child has an immunity problem. As a matter of fact, I'm going to the south of the island this weekend, and I'm actually going to give the child, the mother, a donation for
Some
this child
assistance,
to
yeah.
help her.
Yes.
Because she's such a lovely little child.
Yes.
But you know something? The Labour Party will go to no end to do things, especially when but the mother did say very clearly, we are SLP supporters.
Yes, she said
She's
that.
the only one in the House that supports
The Prime Minister.
the Prime Minister.
Yes.
But Champagne, these things come and they go. So better left that
Yes.
to another time. Something else will happen. Yeah. That does not mean I will not support that child, not because of what she said.
Yeah.
When I see children of that age with the potential, and if they have a problem, if I can help, I will help the
Yes,
child.
yes,
Thank you.
yes. So we say no more on this because
Yeah,
these people, they're out there just waiting
Yeah.
to get 2 little lines
Yeah,
from any
so,
conversation here
I've
to
gone
make
through
a
all
story.
that in my life.
Yes,
Yeah.
But the point again,
Yeah.
I like to look at these things and ask the question. The question I ask myself is, why is it of any moment to the guys who wanted to raise the thing about the child? Or, let me put the question another way. Why would Sir Michael Chastney, or Michael Chastney as they would call him, come and say that about a 6-year-old? What is it to gain?
Yes.
What does Michael
That's what I
Chastney
said
have
this
to
morning.
gain
Yeah.
by making that story? We all know, somebody once said that the Labrie is the little village of Lebowi. Lebowi. So the name, as far as that statement was concerned, is always going to Labour, which is a lot of trash, nonsense, and baloney. But it is in some people's minds that Labour can never be anything, Labrie can never be anything else but Labour. That people like that, Champagne, you have to just pray for them and just leave them alone. Why would Sir Michael Chastney come and lie about a 6-year-old
Yeah.
child
Yeah.
on radio?
What is that
Why?
to gain?
What's
What's the
gain?
benefit?
If it was the Prime Minister who is in politics, you see the Prime Minister is playing his politics, right? And we don't understand that. And somebody challenges him. Okay? But why would the father do that? What does his son, the Prime Minister, have to gain from that? What? Anyway. And guess what? From what Sir Michael just said, it's going to cost him money if he's going to help that child.
Yeah.
Well, I know he doesn't mind
I
with it.
know
He
that
doesn't mind.
the child was on the air. They had the child on the air.
Oh.
Yeah, and the child.
They had the child on the radio as well?
Yeah, the child was on the radio, and the child said, "I love the Prime Minister."
The child
She
said it?
actually said
Yeah,
that?
she said so. yeah.
They didn't feel ashamed when
You mean these guys went that length?
Yeah,
To that length?
I don't know if they physically went or whether they did it.
I mean
by
the phone call, yes.
But the child, I heard it myself. Yeah.
But what are the-
I was driving from home.
These guys
and
are
I put
sick.
on, and my radio was on Timothy's show,
Yes.
which and I think the Yardi and them, and then I just heard it just by chance, But Champagne, let's leave that.
Wow.
alone. We have better things to discuss.
Oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
Okay.
Anyway, something else, and today we're doing, we're reflecting a little bit,
Yeah.
if you will. The Prime Minister was a Monday evening. What a beautiful show we had. We had, and our cameraman is there, over 10,000 Facebook viewers. We had 7,000 plus on YouTube and television and radio.
Wow.
It was immense,
That's
huge,
amazing, yeah.
huge. The numbers were on a Monday night is outrageous. And the Prime Minister said, I could still remember, he said, at the moment, the elections is not my interest. He didn't put it in so many words, but he said, focus now has to be placed on the coronavirus.
he said he was ready.
No, well, after he mentioned about the
Oh, okay.
coronavirus, he said the coronavirus is paramount at the moment, as opposed to the elections. Someone on NBC as well said that the Prime Minister stated that the elections will be postponed. Can you believe that?
postpone, yeah.
Well, you know, I'll tell you something.
But why do people do these things, Sir Michael?
Well,
why
but
do you do it?
Somebody on HTS had suggested that, you know, that Sir Michael and myself had said, oh,
Yeah,
it wouldn't
yeah,
be
the
a
elections.
year, that I said it would be a year's time.
Whatever we say is our opinion,
Yeah.
and we have stated that over and over. But a talk show host said, the fact that it came from our show, we are very close to the Prime Minister.
So we're
Little
the-
do they know, I hardly see the Prime Minister.
You've said that before.
I mean, you probably see the Prime Minister more than me, right?
Probably.
The gentleman has a lot of problems
Oh, yeah.
on his hand, okay?
Yes.
I don't bother the Prime Minister. And he announced that when he was here.
Yes.
He said, let me tell you something. When I go down, one set of people say, PM closed,
Yes.
lockdown.
Yeah.
PM don't lock down.
Yes.
PM do this.
Yeah, I want
PM
my
do
children
that.
to go to school.
Yeah.
I don't
can
want my
well
children to go to
imagine.
school.
I remember, was it, I think it was John Compton who told me many years ago, you have no idea what happens. You have all these messages. Even me, I'm not a prime minister, I'm
Yeah.
not in politics. The number of calls that I get
Yes,
of
yes.
suggestions,
Yeah.
I just, what I do when I get these, anything I consider legitimate,
Yes.
I make a note of it, and when the timing is right, if I have to mention it, I mention it. But I dare not even call the Prime Minister. I know the pressure the guy is under.
Yeah.
I'm not going to call the PM. Yeah, he has an office, and that's where they have to address, you know.
Yeah.
Champagne, I think it's time for to open our lines.
Well, this morning we have not gone into many discussions anyway.
So I
but-
think today
yeah.
we're going to give the
Today
public a chance.
we're going to
yeah.
let the public
We have
speak
said
their
what
mind.
we had to say. We
Yeah.
have laid the foundation, so we'll take it from there.
All right, Senator. Well, we, as always, every Wednesday with our two statesmen in the persons of Peter Josie and Sir Michael Chastney. If you'd like to call in, you ask a question, 4560931 is our number. A beautiful morning to you. Hello.
Hi,
Good morning, sir.
Champagne, good morning to you and your guest.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Champagne, I believe that the SLB has greater appreciation for the power of the media than the UWP.
Uh-huh.
Until I tell you why. There is someone in the SLB camp who is a big fan of a guy called Joseph Goebbels. He was the Nazi minister of propaganda from 1933 to 1945.
Wow.
And if you look at his methods and that of the SLB, you will see certain parallels. I'll tell you some of the things that he said. Let me control the media and I will turn any nation into a herd of pigs.
Wow.
This one should not be taken lightly. Okay? He also said we do not need to reveal the truth. We only seek to make an impact. Okay? If you tell a lie big enough and keep repeating it, people will eventually come to believe it.
Yeah, it becomes
But the truth is the mortal enemy of the lie, and thus, by extension, the truth is the greatest enemy of the state.
Amen.
Okay?
Amen.
Now, these guys have put their propaganda machine to work, so take heed. Okay? The same way that they bombard St. Lucians with their propaganda, we need to put our truth machine into action.
The truth
and
machine.
not only debunk their lies, but inundate our people with the truth.
That's right.
Okay?
Thank you.
I rest my case.
And I wanted to ask you.
Caller, I thank you so much.
Oh,
I thank you
yes,
so much
Gillian.
for what you just said.
Yes.
That has been my attitude, that has been my position, and I'm sure that is the way to go. Inundate the media with the truth.
And he said that the media, and we all should know that for decades we have seen the media has favored the SLP all the time. Now, I will ask a question after this call. Special good morning to you. Hello.
Yeah, Champagne.
Good morning.
Everything cool?
Everything is good, thank you.
They just had a shooting by that supermarket there a while ago. You know.
Right in the middle of town, Victoria Street,
Yeah, just by that there, yeah.
or Chisel Street.
Chisel Street, yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Is it fatal or just a shooting?
No, somebody got shot. I think the person got 5 shots.
Wow, well, 5 shots, most of the time it becomes fatal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everything else? Anything else?
Where did that happen?
On Chisel Street next to that supermarket.
Did the person die?
Well, that's what I asked him. He said 5 shots, so I figured.
5 shots.
Yeah.
I think the fellow is lying on the ground.
Yeah. You have a question for my guest?
No, I'm not for now.
You just give me.
All right, you just give me some information. All right,
Yeah,
beautiful.
information, yeah.
But we want to ask the question whether or not that the Labour Party, for them having the media, 90%
On their side.
on their side, in their pockets, I don't want to speculate here, but is it a possibility that these people have been paid? I mean, that's a tough question to answer, and we don't want to say
I'll answer
anything.
that after the call.
Okay, special good morning to you. Hello.
Good evening,
Good morning, Champion. Good morning, elderly statesman. My favorite elderly statesman.
Good morning,
So
sir.
Michael Shastri.
Sir,
How you doing, sir?
I'm good.
So Peter Josie, how you doing, sir?
I'm fine. I'm doing good. Thank you.
I have a problem. I have a case to deal with Sir Michael Shastri. I want to be short, sweet, or sour. Depends how you may take it. Because I'm bleeding inside.
Make your case, caller. Say what you have to say.
It's simple. When Kenny Andrew dropped the complaint down to y'all saying this election is not SLP versus the UWP, it's SLP versus the Shastas. If only you, Mr. Shasta, so Michael, I vote against him. If I don't beat him 11-6, that means they would have got beaten 17-0. 17-0. They wouldn't be in there. Have a nice day.
Thank you.
All right, thanks a lot, caller. All right, beautiful.
Yeah, you asking a question.
Yeah, I was asking because we have seen throughout the years,
Yeah.
decades, that the
I think
media.
I think one of the reasons, Champagne, the Labour Party has been in power for Dr. Anthony was there 3 years.
Yes, it was.
3 terms. Dr. Anthony was a very powerful individual in that sense. And Dr. Anthony knew how to handle power, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So he knew exactly how to handle those guys, and they didn't mess with him. Either you support me or you have a big problem.
So you're saying he was more on the controlling side?
Yeah. In other words, the way he when he first came into power, he was, his acceptance was so overwhelming. Don't forget 16-1.
Yes.
When a man is brought in 16-1,
Yeah.
that is 90% of the population are behind him.
Yeah.
That's a good start.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So he had that power to.
So at that time, you pick and choose, so we say what you would like to control.
Correct,
Yeah. Special good morning to you. Hello.
Yeah, good morning, Champagne.
Good morning, sir.
Mr. Josie and Sir Michael, good morning.
Morning, sir.
Good morning to you.
Okay, Champagne, Sir Michael was saying something earlier on about the backlog of cases. I think the government should look into that seriously, and I believe that is a very excellent idea. That because the way it is there right now, it is a disaster in our court that we do not have the judges, the magistrate, and to deal with the amount of cases that we have. And if our government can look into Sir Michael's idea, I believe a lot of the cases can be resolved in a short-lived manner, and people will be, not satisfied everybody, but at least some people will get resolved, and I believe it is the right way for us to go. So,
Yeah. All right, caller. Thanks a
The
lot.
caller is so right, because what has happened, you have, for instance, the virus, you have so many cases.
Yes.
Now we have so many. When you have a lot of cases, what they do, they have to try to get a vaccine. We
Right.
need a vaccine.
We do.
For the courts. And the vaccine is to be able to deal with it, to eradicate the number of cases.
Yeah.
Cases come in sequence.
But
Yeah,
so,
go ahead.
Michael,
Sure.
this problem, while we want to put a little blame on the virus, this is something that has been there for 40 years.
I know, with
You
a
know,
different
so-
kind of virus.
with a
That's all.
different kind of virus. A beautiful morning to you. Hello.
Yeah, good morning, Brother Champagne.
Yes. Good morning.
Good morning. I'm Caspi's right now, and there's a shooting by Rick Ide. I don't know if you heard that already.
Oh yeah, someone called in and said that. Yes. Thank you.
Yeah, the body is still down.
So from your observation, that it looks fatal, right? The person may.
Yeah, because we see they have a lot of people there. I myself not going in that crowd there. You know,
Yeah,
you know
please.
Lucian already.
Yeah, don't go there. And you want to say good morning to my guests, Mr. Peter Josie and Mr. Sir Michael Chastney?
Hey,
Yeah.
my boss. Good morning, my boss.
Morning.
Good
Tell me something.
My
All the
team.
people that are there, any of them wearing masks?
No, not everybody. Look, now the ambulance is going.
Yeah,
there
we
now.
could hear it. We could hear it in the background.
Yeah.
All right,
Because
darling.
I myself, I'm far someday.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Thank
Thanks a lot.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, it's not everybody that have the matter.
Yes.
You know Lucian already.
Right.
All right.
Okay.
And
My
so-
PM, good morning to you, my PM.
The PM's father.
Yeah.
Oh, the PM father.
Yeah.
Oh, the PM. Okay.
All right.
Okay.
And St. Lucia, for your information, if you see yourself, we are in the distance of the 6 feet because we have a big desk up there. Because I know all of the criticism, look at them on TV, they're not even wearing masks. So we do have that social distance. We have all of our hand sanitizer. We have everything here. A beautiful morning to you. Hello.
Hello, morning.
Good morning, sir.
Morning, Brother Champion, Brother. So, morning, so Michael, Peter Josie, morning.
Morning,
morning,
brother.
to you.
Morning, my brother.
Magama janti question, ma si person ka sa reponi. Alcohol la katwe zemina ne menu ma.
Est-ce qu'il y a tué?
Aha, zemina.
Non,
La nou bene menu alcohol.
Oh, alcool à sous la mer?
Aha.
Well, you do can sanitize them up pour empêcher ou attract pest virus.
Oh,
Because
so
of-
mga katile, si nou ka hen virus sa di dan nou. So,
Sous
what
ça,
about alcohol la pou, si nou gwa alcohol, teasing alcohol, e si pa agoumen virus la di dan nou?
well, moi pas un docteur, mais moi ça do c'est un défaut en qualité bail que là alcool là et puis hand sanitizer c'est des défauts bail même si ni alcool là dedans.
Non, mais ça n'a dit, si alcohol la sa differently an eme nou. What about nou ka affecte an di dan nou menm nan?
Oh,
E
c'est-
teasing alcohol pa sa wende nou?
So écoutez ça, ou quoi Saint Lucie Jacques ça boit plus alcool parce que l'Amérique ni 390 moun, 1000 moun. Non, écoutez-moi. Et moi quand répondre une question pour ça n'a du alcool pas sans empêcher 20 maintenant. Parce que y a presque 500 000 moun qui jamais l'Amérique avec moi assis yo a dit yo ka boire.
Écoutez,
Non, c'est une question, moi, lorsqu'à ma
Non, oui, moi comprendre.
Écoutez ça. Ou ka lave le mot avec alcool, ça c'est une manière pour aider contrôler
Oui.
le virus là. L'autre manière c'est pour laver le mot avec savon, avec de l'eau, vider de l'eau sous le mot et bien ouvrir le mot en citerne. Bon, est-ce que laver le mot et bien est-ce
Écoutez, ça là, ma gale.
Ok.
est-ce que mettre savon à sous
En dedans.
en dedans.
Yeah.
L'autre bail là c'est ça, ou dit un teasing alcool, un teasing warm. Qui ça qui est un teasing?
N'a pas de alcool.
Un teasing pour vous, mais pas un teasing pour l'autre monde. Vous comprenez quoi?
Yeah. Thanks for holding caller. Good morning.
Hi, good morning, Joe.
Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning to Mr. Peter Josie.
Morning.
I guess I want to touch a bit on the backlog of cases in the system. Possibly it might be time that we look at looking at lay magistrates. These are people who don't have a legal background as such, who are not ex-lawyers and those kind of things, but people who have good standing in the community, and be it from business, civic society, as long as they don't you should make background checks on them.
Caller, you're so right, because that is what Sir Vincent said, and that comes in the form of arbitration. And one of the main guys here is Francis Compton, who heads a lot, and they have solved many cases that were in the courts for years. So you're 100% right.
And caller, also let me add my 2 cents bit. The justices of the peace, when they are properly chosen by the government, can help in that regard.
Exactly. Although these days we have JPs being hired or recommended on political favors.
Well, that's why I say if they're properly,
they're not what they used to
properly appointed.
Yes, exactly.
Now, let me ask something, caller. Hold your thought. Are those people you spoke about legally, do they have that authority to head cases, court cases? Can they make...
No, the court appoints it.
Oh, the court appoints it.
Yeah.
He's making a suggestion
They get the blessing from the court.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yes, and what you would have what you call amicus curiae, who are the friends of the court, lawyers who would, on legal matters, who would advise them.
Okay.
But they're lay people who have experience, and they would settle those cases quickly.
That's right. Correct.
With common sense.
Correct. That's right.
Okay.
Common sense. Yeah.
Okay.
But
So-
Paul, remember, common sense is not that common. But anyway, but you're so right.
All right, caller, thanks a lot.
All right.
Let me ask a question in that regard. Who is the finger supposed to be pointed at with all of those bad luck? Is it the courts? Is it the Attorney General? Is it the government? Is it the Minister of Justice? Who is the finger supposed to be pointed at?
I'll tell you.
Let's take this call. A beautiful morning to you. Hello.
Yes, good morning to you and your guest.
Good morning, sir.
Morning.
Good morning.
To say something short and brief, about the vaccine. What I understood that Cuba and India has vaccines which are very cheap. So I was suggesting that we should really speed up, on trying to get, in order to get those vaccines.
Caller, let me respond to you very quickly on that here. The Prime Minister has already done that. And the one problem with the India vaccine is that WHO have not certified it as yet. As soon as they certify our Prime Minister has a direct link to Mr. Modi, who is the Prime Minister of India. That I can tell you. We have spoken on a couple of occasions, and they are quite friendly. And many doctors in St. Lucia have already appraised the Prime Minister about that. I have got many calls from other doctors who've asked me to relay that message to the PM. And as soon as the WHO has given the okay, we are likely will be in business. Thank you.
What about the Cuba vaccine, Sir Michael?
The Cuba vaccine they can produce up to 1 million vaccine, but it hasn't come to. But they will want that for themselves because they have 11 million people.
Yeah.
Well, I believe ending our match is a bit too late, especially these cases we have now.
Caller, you have to take what you get, Yeah, I know what you're saying, but the entire world is struggling with the coronavirus. Everyone wants the vaccine.
Yeah, but India is really willing to help.
The Cuba thing.
No, well, we know what's going on with Cuba.
Cuba needs ours for themselves. They have done their own. They've already produced, I understand, 1 million vaccines, but Cuba has 11 million people, So, but I think what you said initially, caller, is the way to go. India has a surplus. India actually has, imagine that, appointed 250,000 doctors and nurses, and they have already vaccinated 360 million people, which is more than the
360.
Yeah, they have vaccinated more people than the population of America already.
States,
yeah,
yes.
and because don't forget they have 1.6 billion people.
Yes,
yeah, so and they are helping other nations. They're in Nepal everywhere already.
Wow.
But India they have the ability to produce the vaccines. Although I think they work with the UK on their vaccine,
right,
and they got permission to produce it. And they produce millions of vaccines already.
We have a quick break from that.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, Colin, thanks a lot. Wow, so the vaccine from India, it has not been certified from the WHO, but they still go ahead using it for their own people. Oh, wow, all right.
But about
a beautiful morning to you, hello.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Morning.
Good morning to you.
Mr. Shastane.
Sir.
You had a vessel named Native Knowledge.
Yes, I remember that.
And I will tell you the year was 1959.
That's correct. 1959.
Yeah.
Correct, I remember.
That's a long time ago.
I made the first trip on that vessel to Trinidad carrying copra.
Oh boy, your memory is very good. I remember that. Did the vessel have an engine at the time, or it was on sale?
No, on sale.
I remember that when I bought that vessel from a guy in St. Vincent. It was a beautiful looking boat there, and I remember that boat sailing down and then probably taking a couple of days to reach Trinidad if the weather under the pitons was, if they got becalmed. Yeah. That's interesting. We have to have a chat. So you were working on the vessel or what?
No, I'm living in St. Lucia. I'm a St. Lucian.
No, but how, you said you traveled on the vessel.
Yeah. When we came back, your father and you stayed us just behind the Singer building on Manuel Street.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if you could remember that little fella.
I remember. Mm-hmm.
Well, then I would like to speak to you differently than on the radio.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll tell you something. I'm happy to give you my number. You know my number?
No, I don't.
452 5419.
Okay then.
And give me a call. I'd love to talk to you. That'd be wonderful. That'd really
452
452 5419.
Let me get a pen.
Sure. Get a pen.
That's a long time ago. That's way before my time.
Yeah.
1959.
Wow.
That's before Peter's time as well. No,
that was a year before I left St. Mary's College.
452
5419.
Thank you.
That's my office. So just call me anytime and leave your name and number. Can you give me your number?
284
284
1329.
1329.
Okay.
I spoke to Champagne this morning.
Oh, you did?
Well, I'll definitely call you because I'd love to talk to you. Yeah.
All right, my brother.
Thanks for calling.
Okay,
Beautiful.
have a good day.
That is a long time ago. Yeah. I want to go back to the India vaccine.
Yes.
And okay, let's do call. Special good morning to you. Hello.
Hello, good morning, Champagne.
Good morning, sir. How are you doing, Doctor?
Michael, good morning, and I think Mr. Josie.
Morning, my brother. Morning.
How are you all doing?
Good, man.
Great.
Okay. I'm enjoying your program.
Thank you so much.
As usual.
I appreciate that.
And Champagne know my voice. Mr. Josie, you know my voice, you know me. But if Mr. Allen doesn't know, so Michael, That is the voice of Dr. Secret.
Okay. So, well, I heard about the great Dr. Secret.
Dr. Secret, that's right.
But that voice is no secret anymore,
It's
right?
not a secret
Well,
anymore.
it's still a secret.
Okay.
Yeah, let me ask you all, gentlemen, did you all get any call that somebody just got shot in Castries?
Yes.
Yes, we got 2 calls on that.
Okay, so somebody will tell me they have to blame the Prime Minister after he trying to see what he can do for the COVID thing. They will try and blame him for he should have been around a police, should have been everywhere a gunshot is coming from.
Yeah.
Why don't the St. Lucians try and behave themselves?
Yeah, exactly.
And secondly, I'm not going to say long, have you heard Miss Catherine Seeley say anything good about the Prime Minister and the government?
Never.
I'm not saying she never said,
No,
but
she never said.
I've never heard it.
Well, I could say she'd never said.
Well,
But what is wrong with this lady? I want Miss Catherine Seeley. I know you listen to the program because you are a critic of the United Workers' Party. You like to criticize everything. I would like you to tell me how many cases, murder cases that were there in 2011 to 2016, and how many of them that were solved during the time of the St. Lucia Labour Party.
Dr.
Miss Catherine
Secret,
Seeley,
Dr.
you're St.
Secret.
Lucian, you are around. I want you to do that homework and come. I'm praising any kind of murder, any
Right.
kind of thing like that, crime, nothing like that.
Dr.
I
Secret.
always saying every day, put the gun down, hold the Bible, read a verse of scripture, just like if it's a bullet that you're going to use.
Dr. Secret,
Okay.
Dr. Secret,
Yes.
do not ask the young lady that difficult question. Let me tell you a question you must ask her, or you should ask her. Okay?
Mm.
Say, Miss, I heard from the lips of Peter Josie
Yes.
that you were one of the strong supporters of Alan Shasley even before he became Prime Minister.
Mm-hmm.
You even used to help one or two other ladies have functions and collect money for him and the United Workers'
That
Party.
is true.
Mm-hmm.
How come you all are not together anymore? What happened?
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay,
Dr. Secret?
okay.
That is a good question.
That's a simple question. Don't
And-
criticize, don't say anything. Say you heard from the lips of Peter Josie that she
Okay.
was close to the Prime Minister. She used to
Yeah.
even help the Prime Minister collect money, raise funds for the party for elections.
So
Okay.
that comes to mind that she is an opportunist, but
No,
maybe
no,
the
no, well,
opportunity
I
Peter
did
didn't
not
say
come her
that.
way.
that. I didn't say that.
Yeah,
You will decide that.
Mr. Josie,
Yes, sir.
that's just what pop up on my I have a
On your
board that
radar.
tells me what everything happening.
Okay,
So
Dr.
maybe
Secret.
that just pop up and say that she's an opportunist, but she did not get the opportunity quick as she wanted.
Koute
Back up.
mwen, pa mande kwestyon mwen pa dou pou mande, mwen bay
Non.
non mwen. Paske mwen
Oui.
pa pe ou mande, kouye non mwen, lò ka mande kwestyon.
Oui.
Ok?
Tout
Bon.
ça pour Madame l'a dit that unsolved crime, unsolved this, unsolved that. Why the Prime Minister and she's not in the voice of anybody?
Maybe she's
you
in
are
love,
a woman.
Dr.
When you have
Secret.
things happen to women,
She
you
might be
have
in
a
love with
right
the
to
Prime Minister
speak.
still. Sigwe,
Yeah.
Secret, she might be still in love with the Prime Minister.
I suspect. I didn't want to say that. Anyway, gentlemen, I'm there listening.
All
Okay,
right,
my
thanks a
brother.
lot.
All right.
One more thing.
Yeah.
Hello?
Go ahead,
Yeah,
go
yeah.
ahead.
On the other radio station, we plan to have a morning of prayer, at least 2 hours of prayer. That is Monday, the first Monday of next month. That will be Monday coming.
Yeah.
So from 7 o'clock in the morning, anybody that heard me, they can call on 489-4781 and give a little contribution by saying a little prayer for the nation. For the nation.
Secret, I thought you all will do that closer to independence on the 42nd anniversary of independence. I mean, that's just my opinion. So if you do it
Okay.
on Monday, you can do it another time. Independence is 22nd. So maybe the week before independence, like even the 10th of February might be a better time.
What is the number, Secret?
489-4781.
All right, beautiful.
Well, it was a caller that decided we should do that.
Okay, all right, fair enough. But I
It's
believe
FM.
I believe you all
Okay.
should have a special prayer meeting for St. Lucia coming up to 42nd years of independence, 42nd year
Okay.
of its independence. Okay?
All right,
Okay,
beautiful.
no
my
problem
friend.
at all.
All right, thank
good.
you.
Now I'm going back to that vaccine thing because the Indian vaccine
yes.
is being used in India.
Yeah.
And the WHO has not approved it. It's not given it any
But
approval.
India has
Now,
given
so-
it to about 12 other countries and they
So-
gratefully accepted it. Brazil has asked India for over 1 million doses.
So why would it not be approved by the WHO? Because of money, their own companies?
No, I'll tell you why, I think. Why? Don't forget, it's the Caribbean it's a number of islands that are working together.
Yeah.
Okay, they're working together. And the PAHO had already agreed that they would give a certain amount of vaccine to each island.
Right.
So I suppose these islands, it's like a CARICOM. They don't want to tread on dangerous ground. If they go and take it, they may cut them off. You know?
Yeah.
So,
all right.
So I think
They wanted
sorry for that caller, 456.
From the first dose, from the original,
Yeah.
from the Pfizer vaccine.
Yeah, wherever they have approved, okay?
4560931.
Moderna's been approved, and also the one in England has been approved.
But I'm also hearing that it is remarkable that vaccines
Yeah.
have been prepared and approved in such a
short time.
Short time.
Yeah.
Because in the past,
12
vaccines
years.
took 10, 15 years to be
But
approved.
After the call, I'll explain why.
Yeah. Special good morning to you. Hello.
Yeah, morning, gentlemen.
Good morning,
morning,
sir.
Yeah.
All right. I've been listening to your program, and it's very interesting to have to Shapley.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
And the great Peter Josie.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Only God is great, caller.
Well, in the politics, my brother, I consider to be great.
Yes.
All right. Okay. Thank you for the compliment.
You have served the country well in the politics, and you're still making a very valid contribution, man.
Yeah.
Thank
I believe that.
Thank you.
The populace.
Thank you.
Yes.
Now, in so doing, what I would appreciate is to have a program like this in Patois, in Creole.
Creole. And lang mama no afe.
That's right, because la nou shy moun ki sa ka kompren the grammatical English that nou ka servi a dile. Ou kompren
C'est pour nous faire ça, oui.
Vraiment.
Écoute ça, monsieur Michael Chasley, bon en Creole là, hein?
Abe fay mou choué talent mi a den.
Okay.
So ba expose talent.
Okay.
Because Mogado, la nou shy moun ki ka support chez nous frère.
Oui.
A pa di tout bois pour anti-mettre d'information.
Oui.
Bon, tout bois peut-être de par des top political.
Oui. Moi t'en ça, c'est juste ça.
So, nous, ni pour mettre political factor nous on ground, my friend. Et commencer depuis après ça, pas pour les top ça.
Ça, oui.
Because moi, moi, c'est pour casser politique là, tout partout. En Dominique, la dernière on parle de Crazy P. Si était à sous radio station, si était qu'à supporter les bons partis en Dominique.
Oh oui, moi attends non ça.
Vraiment, monsieur était effective. He was a very effective person when it comes to
Creole
PR for the Labour Party in Dominica. You understand? So I need a similar. It's not a foreign fashion, you know, but because it was effective with work, I'm saying that we can have the same thing in St. Lucia.
Yeah.
I've already mentioned that to my comrade, the Botaiman.
Right.
I made that suggestion to you.
Norbert Williams.
Yeah.
You always come through with it.
But we do have a guy here. We do have a gentleman here Thursday, Friday, and Saturday in the person of Ring the Bell. I don't know if you have ever listened.
But he wants he wants this Wednesday program in Creole one day. That's what you're saying, right?
Yes, sir.
Well, we'll look at it. We'll take a look at it, my friend.
And keep up the good work.
All right, beautiful.
I heard Brother Peter mention that we should have the government remain in power after the next election. I'm looking forward to that.
Oh, I'm almost certain. I'm almost certain, caller, that is going to happen.
Yeah, and I'm looking for a foot term for us to serve.
Yeah, definitely.
But let's not go too far ahead of ourselves.
Well, we have to go to third and fourth. Yes.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot, caller. Beautiful.
All right.
Good contribution. I asked you earlier, who is the finger supposed to be pointed at in terms of the backlogs in our court system? Is it the Attorney General? Is it the government? Is it the courts itself? Is it the Minister of Justice?
A combination. It's a combination. They all have to get together. The government has to decide. I mean, I think the St. Lucia government can actually go to the Chief Justice or to the court system and say, look at me, this is untenable. We have to do something about it. We're not blaming you for it. And between the Attorney General, give the evidence, but they can take the decision because I'm told that when Dr. Annie was in power, that these judges offer their services from Canada. So the fact that they came to him, it shows it can happen, because it happened in other countries.
Right.
It happened in other OECS countries.
So who has the autonomy on changing it?
I would say the government.
The government,
has to be.
because I had a conversation with our police officers, and not they were saying it, but apparently the courts are operating in the world by themselves.
Not really.
Okay, so we want to discuss that because this is something that's interesting. A beautiful morning to you. Hello.
Champagne, how are you doing there?
I'm doing good, sir.
Well, this is the alleged mayor of Rock Hall. Let me tell you, I am a justice of the peace, and the justice of the peace is a lay magistrate. Why not training us? Because there are so many justices of peace all around. You've seen some of them by the Constitution Park having their little thing right in and so on. Train a few and give them direction as to the way forward, because the justice of the peace is a lay magistrate. So what's the big deal?
Yeah.
That's what should happen,
Mr. Chasney.
Yes.
How are you doing, sir?
He asked you how you're doing.
I'm very, very, very well, my brother. Thank you.
Do have yourself a very rewarding day, man.
Thank you, and the same to you, my brother.
We have a martial man here too, you know, Mr. Josie.
Yeah, but I don't think Josie personally, man. I mean, that little mini mook, man. But you don't
That's
remember
right.
me, man.
The mook, the mini mook. That's
Thank you, God.
Yeah, have a blessed day, fellas.
All right, beautiful. Yes.
Yeah, so I think, you know, let me tell you, also, there's something called CARICOM, you know.
Right.
Yeah, CARICOM can get together, I mean, don't forget, too, they have the Caribbean Court of Justice, the CCJ. All the islands can meet and say, look at me. Because that's not a problem for St. Lucia only. It's all the islands.
Yes.
Yeah. And say, look at me, we cannot continue this thing. We need to clear out that backlog and start again from fresh.
Well, what I'm hearing.
Also, without cutting you short, Champagne, you hear all those murders taking place and those shootings.
Yeah.
Also, if we had a system that could deal with that quickly, right, and do what we have to do, it will help.
I believe it will.
Yeah.
But we are also hearing that the court system in St. Lucia, I don't know about St. Vincent and the other places, maybe they might be the same. But they are operating on their own without the involvement of the government. That is, I'm not saying it's a fact. I'm saying that is what we
I mean, the court is an independent body. That I can tell you for a fact. But I think when it comes to making a general decision like what you're asking there, I think that's possible. Yeah, I really think.
Yeah, well.
Technically, the court is supposed to be independent, and I agree with Sir Michael.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you something, there's no system that is perfect. As we saw in the United States of America, the president, the former president, was actually trying to interfere with the court system, whereas the principle on which they operate is same like St. Lucia. There's the executive, which is the president, there's the
legislative
and the legislative branch things, right? In St. Lucia, I wouldn't be surprised if an influential politician, as leader of the country, can put in a few words here and there to his attorney general or to, what's the name of the other one?
The DPP?
Or the DPP, and cause little things to happen. I believe there's a point. I'm not saying it's happening right now.
Yeah.
I'm saying that you can always get leaders who are disposed to tweaking the system and helping it to work, better.
All right. Special good morning to you. Hello.
Hello, good morning, Champagne.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Peter.
Morning, sir.
Champagne, you're asking to Mike about this vaccine from...
Could you raise your voice or speak a little louder, please?
Champagne, you're asking to Mike about the vaccine from India that they have not approved it yet and how they're using it.
Yeah.
So you have not answering on that, but you went to another question and you forget to ask it. So I'm there listening on that.
Well, let me explain to you what has happened. To repeat, the vaccine is produced, is being used in India. They've already vaccinated over 360 million people, which is more than the population of the United States. But India as a country, it's an independent country. It can take it on its own. It's a big country of 1.6 million. It can make those decisions. But we as a small nation around here, it's a group of us that are together. We have to go along with the World Health Organization, WHO. I'm not saying that they feel the vaccine in India, anything is wrong with it, but they have to do their cross-checks. And they will approve it at some point. It's just that they haven't done that yet. But while they haven't done it here, we cannot use it. And the Prime Minister of this country has to be very, should I say, careful because right now the PAHO has already agreed to give us at the end of March a certain number of vaccines for all the islands. If we go and move away from it and take, they may cut us off. Just like what happened when Mr. Trump invited the Prime Minister of Jamaica and St. Lucia. That brought a big problem with CARICOM. They felt they should not have gone. So we have to be very careful. So I think that has been the problem, my brother.
And there's one more slight tweak I have to make to this caller, and that is when the WHO had approved the Pfizer vaccine in the United States, right? As soon as that happened, the CARICOM people got together and started negotiating with WHO. So it was very early when they made that decision, and India had not yet approved of their own vaccine in India. You understand? So Pfizer was ahead, then Moderna after that, and then the India. But the Indian people are very savvy, very good doctors in India. All kinds of technology in India is sometimes superior to what you get in so-called developed countries. So India has gone ahead. But we in the Caribbean had gone ahead with WHO. And as Sir Michael pointed out, we cannot just make a U-turn, right?
Okay, all right, okay.
All right, thank you.
So in essence, what we're saying, we cannot override or go over the head of the WHO.
That is
we have to wait.
Or make a U-turn.
We can, but if it will come at a cost.
Yes.
Because they may cut us off, you know.
Okay.
So, but I think it will come, Champagne. It will definitely will come. But for sure, that I know the PM is in touch with them.
Yeah. Special good morning to you. Hello.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning, Mr. Favorite Peter Josie.
Good morning
I wish you were the
to
one
you,
going
sir.
up in the south.
What did you say, caller?
I wish Mr. Josie was the one going up in the south.
Oh, I've said that to him on numerous occasions. I've said that all the time.
Thank you.
I know.
I may actually come and lend a hand if I'm invited. I always make that proviso, if I'm invited.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I am still very emotionally attached to Vieux Fort. I know where my navel is buried in Vieux Fort, and that is one thing I am proud to say. Okay?
You had a question, caller? Any concern?
One of the things I want to say, I am not talking for St. Lucian, but I would welcome those overseas judges and magistrates if we can get them from Canada or whatever country.
Mm-hmm.
At least I think St. Lucians would be more comfortable with them than our own magistrates.
Maybe that's something we have to put to the Prime Minister. I don't think it's too late, you know, for him to try to get help from Canada. The caller is saying.
Canada needs all what they have. The thing is, Canada has 30 million people and they want a vaccine.
No, he's not talking about the vaccine. He's talking about if we get some judges and magistrates.
Oh, sorry, I'm so sorry. Sorry about that. Definitely. Yeah, and they're available. Yeah, they're available. I hope somebody is listening today and the powers that be, and they do what they have to do. Yeah.
Because let me tell you, what's happening down here is that judge and the magistrate down here, it's who know who. They know people. They have their friends.
Yeah, it's a small country, Colin. You don't even have to say that. We all know that. We all know that.
Yeah, it's one family.
After doing all that work and to see their cases are just going down the drain because you know who
can be very frustrating.
And that sort of thing. They're friends.
Yeah.
So I would appreciate that. We would welcome those overseas people if we can get them.
Yeah. I agree with you.
Central would be comfortable and they would give the government that strength, you know.
Yeah.
And I think it's time also.
Yeah. All right, Colin.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
Mr. Josie, do you foresee a problem if the Prime Minister or the government goes that way? Because I remember a few years ago when we were bringing in. Goes the way with bringing in magistrates and judges. Let me finish the question. Because I remember a few years ago we were having police commissioners from the outside. From England, there was Broughton, and I know a lot of stuff that had happened because some of our local police officers that thought they were deserving of a promotion to police commissioner, there was a lot of stuff that was done. I don't want to go into detail, but I know of stuff that was done. So are you seeing something in that same manner happening with regard to our judge? Let's take that call and we'll come back to that. Special good morning to you. Hello.
Hi, good morning, Mr. Champagne.
Good morning to you,
darling. Mr. Michael Chasney.
Good morning, darling.
Good morning, Mr. Peter Josie.
Good morning, madam.
So let me put on my volume.
Yeah, please do. And just don't listen to the television or the radio.
Yeah, I would just like to follow up on what the last caller said. I am very happy. I really enjoy and look forward to Wednesday mornings from our elderly statesmen and the information that they bring and the knowledge, and together with all the other callers. Some of us don't have that knowledge, and we learn a lot on Wednesday mornings. And I am hoping and wishing that we will get more of those because we are in a election. I think it's election season, and we need so much. We need so much more PR and so much more to because our nation is going forward. Our government is doing wonderful, and what I heard from the callers about the magistrates and what could be for our country, because we see that our judicial system is lacking, and I feel so hurt for our police officers when you see that the news that they arrested a person for firearm and certain offenses, and before you know it, those people are bailed. And I would be happy for our policemen also, because they need to have that boost. They need their morals to be boosted up, and people are blaming them here, there, and everywhere, and they are doing their job. Most of them are doing their jobs, but when these things happen, what do we expect? They go in, they put themselves in dangerous places to go get the evidence, get the perpetrators, and before you know it, their work has gone down to the drain because a magistrate, a judge, or whoever it is, let that person go on a bail that is, next to nothing. And our judicial system, this is one thing that I really, really, really would love to see be a better system. Because this is why St. Lucians are becoming so lawless, because they feel they can do things. They can do whatever they want, and
get away with
nothing
it,
could happen to them.
You're
Nothing.
100% right. 100% right.
Yeah, and we really need to see that. And I believe that we will get there, because I believe this government is bringing St. Lucia to a place where many of us desire. And we just have to be patient with them and give them that opportunity so that they would help and bring us and support our Prime Minister, support him to the max. His MPs, those of us who are on this side, support him, and our PR, like a gentleman earlier said, the PR needs to step up. And the supporters, I know there are some supporters who, they are silent, and that is what the repeat supporters are. But those who are really vocal, come out more. Support those who come out and be vocal. Mr. Norbert, his show was very wonderful last night and very informative. And let us continue to support the government. And there are many things that we know. I can see that this government is going to push us forward if we give them that support.
They have already done, Kola, and they will do more.
Yes, they are doing, and that is why I'm saying that we are seeing, but I must say this: the opposition is catching at straws. They are catching at sponges, and they will do anything. And now they're trying to blame the government and to associate them with the COVID situation right now. And we must not allow this thing to get to us. The people who are allowing these people to get to them, they will not. This is not going to make them win no election.
Yeah, you're right, Colin.
This will not make them.
You're very right.
Thank you so much, and I pray that our St. Lucians will do the right thing and go to the polls and put the tiquas where it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. That's so kind of you.
You know, the opposition, I think sometimes they take a bucket with a cover and they say they catch and win and cover it. Yeah. And then call the people to say, look at the win we catch. Yeah. But there's nothing. You can see nothing in there.
But when they're in opposition, they're fighting for their life. Yeah.
I mean, could you imagine you said you just caught
But you were asking me a question about the police versus the magistrate.
Yes.
It's not exactly the same thing. But before I answer that question, let me say to you and to the listeners that the first rule in politics is the safety of the state.
Hold on a minute, Colin. Go ahead.
This is the first rule in politics. The first law is the safety of the state.
Amen.
Okay? That is the first. So you need policemen, you need active policemen who know their work, and you need magistrates.
Yes. Thanks for holding, Colin. Good morning.
We'll continue after that.
Yes. Good morning. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Sir Michael.
Morning.
How are you today?
I'm good, brother.
Champagne.
Yes, sir.
You see, when politicians are hungry for power,
they do all kind of things. They throw all kind of dirty, obscene campaign for people.
Yes.
And the reason why some people argue with them, the reason why when Labour was in party, was getting money to pay their bills. Now they're in opposition, they get nothing. They're hungry. I listened to one top show yesterday, Champagne.
Yeah.
I will not mention the people's name. Rubbish only. You, Sir Michael.
Yes.
Peter Josie. Oh, that's make the day.
That's so kind of you.
Yeah. I'm so happy for when they mention our names. It makes us more popular. So their own supporters will look forward to seeing us here every Wednesday. So I urge them to continue to talk about us.
Champagne.
Yeah.
Don't forget Mr. Kulut thing, you know.
Mr. Kulut?
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
I'm the one that talking there.
I remember, yes, yes.
So when you come down, give me a buzz.
I will call you.
Okay.
All right. Or you,
both of you.
all right, beautiful. Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, you were
So
saying.
I was saying it's a different thing. The police can be a little jealous if you bring in a set of new policemen because
Yes.
they will feel that their promotions may be delayed.
Yes.
But in the case where you bring in a couple of judges and magistrates for a fixed period, a year, 2 years, it doesn't affect the promotion of any magistrate to you know, in the Caribbean setting, the Eastern Caribbean.
What about the operation? You know, some people like the prestigious moment to sit on a bench and to judge someone, to convict
Well, the other
someone.
judges will be operating. They're not coming to replace magistrates, but as such, they're coming in addition to what is there. So it takes us back to the new courtroom and the new police headquarters the government is trying to build.
Yeah.
Because the more courtrooms you have, the more cases you can solve if you have the manpower at the top to do it.
You know, you're aware that we've had some Cuban doctors that have been given a lot of pressure from our local doctors into obtaining work permits. That is a fact. Okay? And it is always a jealousy thing. But at the same time, the country
Sometimes the
keeps
guys, the
going
qualified
in the-
guys feel threatened. Eh?
That's my
Sometimes.
point. That is my point.
Yeah, I'm saying that the police is a different thing. If the Cuban doctors may wish to stay for a little while. I know at least one Cuban doctor who has been here for a while. Whereas a magistrate coming in or a judge will be for a fixed period. And talking about that, Champagne, I took a note last night before I came down here to say about the police. I wanted to bring that topic up myself. One of the things that I saw on HTS is there's a question about how people feel whether the commissioner should go on leave or should be replaced. The commissioner's time has come from what I know, and I heard it a couple years ago from a very top policeman, okay? But what is more important is we have to develop a system where the government, I repeat, put, what word am you looking for? Put
The mechanisms? No?
Yes, put a standard of academic excellence in place so that the policemen, from the time they are recruited, if they are bright young people, with sergeant, whatever the rank, they give them the opportunity to study, to become lawyers, to become refined in criminal technology, discovering criminals, handprinting, and fingerprinting, and all that. So there must always be a perpetual training program for the police, all the police who are keen. Those who are not interested and who are not academically capable, obviously will not make use of that program. But when you're in the police force, after a few years, that a policeman, the police force should have their own lawyers. That's another way of putting it in a nutshell.
Okay.
Have the lawyers that came through the ranks of the police, so that the police is always being trained with the finer brains, okay, to complement the magistrates that you're having, to make the case for the state to put the criminals away.
All right. How much of a difference you think the new courts facility will make? How much of a difference?
The
courts facility, the new building that's supposed to be built.
Remember one thing,
for the courts.
a building doesn't change.
That is why I ask you that.
What is the status
That
of
is
the
why I
building?
ask you that.
It's going to start very soon.
And I'm still going to stay with you on that.
Sure.
The building doesn't change the activities.
No.
What is supposed to.
It's a man.
That is right.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah,
Until you change the system.
But also, Champagne, to bear in mind that, you know, you put a person in a decent quarters, they think differently. A man goes to work at a nice, decent place.
That is true.
Yeah,
That's a possibility. Yeah. Special good morning to you. Hello.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning
I
to you.
heard Mr. Joseph spoke about training policemen to become lawyers and go for the ranks. But we had one before, that was Mr. Frederick. He was a lawyer, he went for the ranks, and he was a lawyer for the policemen.
He was?
Yes.
What rank did he left at, caller, if you know?
He left that as
Corporal?
Commissioner of Police.
Which Frederick you talking about?
Frederick is, he's one of them. He was
Short Pants? Is it Short Pants' brother?
He was brother to Mr. Frederick, was the deputy commissioner.
Oh, yes.
We used to call him Short Pants, right?
Yes, I know,
Yeah,
I remember.
brother short. I forgot his first name.
Yes, I know the Frederick.
So what did he do?
He was deceased.
Yes, yes.
What you said he did, caller, sorry?
He went for the ranks, and he went for training he studied law.
Right.
And he became a lawyer, and he was in the police force, and he was lawyer for the police force, for the policemen.
Mm-hmm. He said he was acting as a lawyer.
Yeah, I'm hearing.
I don't know if you remember that.
So the point you bring in, of course, caller, that we have had police officers that have represented the police as lawyers.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I think that point Mr. Josie made is a very, very good point. And there should be more than one, because there are a lot of bright people. If you had 4 or 5 people, even with a legal background, so that when somebody is arrested, they can put the case together better for them, you know?
Yeah.
Because you bring a young guy and he charges the person and he may botch it up, you know?
Yeah.
So I think that's a good idea.
So, caller, you think this is why the courts, I don't want to use that word I'm about to use. You think the courts are making, like in our terms, a march with the police because they're not lawyers, maybe?
I think so.
Well, no, I would say differently. You know, a lawyer, from my experience with lawyers, a lawyer assumes that you're supposed to know your business. What they tell you, I'm not doing your work for you. You have to do your work.
Right.
Come good and present the case. That's what we're here for. We're not here to handle your case, which is good and bad. Okay. But since you know that, then you have to address it.
If you have your own,
correct.
it's better.
But I think Brother Peter's point is very,
very good
legit.
point.
That the police should have their own lawyers as police officers to represent some of the
there are
cases.
enough lawyers in St. Lucia that are not getting a lot of work, even though they're not the best, but they have a legal background.
Yes.
And they should actually even bring them on a part-time basis, you know, and to work with the police officers. I think that's
and
a
you
very
know
good.
something, coming up through the ranks, a police who comes up through the ranks becomes a lawyer, may be able to prepare a better case than a lawyer who was never a police and who don't really understand.
That's a possibility.
Yeah, but the law is the same, eh, Pete? But you are right. You are right, because if you can have two same built into one, it's a stronger kind of individual.
Caller, you still want to add something?
No, that's just what I want to do.
All right, caller. Thanks a lot. Have a great day. Yeah, that's very important. And he's saying that there was such a police officer in the person of Mr. Frederick. Well, not the young Mr. Frederick, the old Mr. Frederick.
Right.
Yes. All right.
You mean not the politician, Mr. Frederick?
Well, not the politician, Mr. Frederick. So I was asking you, and that's important. When I ask you if you think the new facility with the courthouses and everything,
it will help.
It will help.
Because you know, it's just like, for instance, the traffic department, who right here at Colony House.
Yeah.
When you see where they were, it's depressing when you go into a place that's run down. You go into this place now, nice, fresh and clean, nice desk, brand new furniture. It gives people a new life, you know. You come in, it's like your home.
Yes, it's true.
If you want to go to your home, and your home has a nice atmosphere and it's enticing,
you always want to go home.
Yeah, so it's not that you don't want to go home.
Yeah, it's a mental thing.
I was speaking to a friend of mine in the United States recently, and the person was saying how indisciplined St. Lucians are. They don't want to stay at their home. So I said to them, listen, you have to be a little more charitable. Some of the homes that these people are from, it's
not very enticing.
It's depressing to stay in it. The heat to start with. Next thing, next to neighbors, you're hearing voices, people always. So it's not a place you enjoy. It's a place you go and sleep when everybody else is quiet.
Correct.
We have another 10 minutes into the program. I want to ask you something, Brother Peter, because you live further north than both myself and Sir Michael. The expansion on the Rodney Bay Road, the 4-lane, you as an individual, if you just imagine when it's all completed with the lanes all marked up and everything and the overhead walkover,
roundabouts,
the roundabouts and everything, what do you perceive of this place going to be for you personally in regards to the traffic?
It will make life a little easier, but unless it's going all the way to Castries, you will still get some bottlenecks, because what it says to me, when I leave my home, I join the main road as soon as I reach the bottom of my hill, right? That's fine, but I get to where they're going to stop at
Volney gas station.
Yeah. In no time at all.
In Ragery.
Yeah. So unless you join me from Volney gas station down to
Mega J's,
then I'm going to be slowed down.
Yeah. Now that's a tall order now, but wouldn't you say?
No, but it's going to help.
It's done in stages.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's what I was about to say.
You're doing the first stage, because that was definitely a bottleneck here, because one of the biggest problems Champagne has been is the mini buses, because they're parking on the side of the road.
That's right.
Now that will change.
Thank
and
you.
that will flow, because, if, for instance, I'm just saying, what Peter said, he's 100% correct. Say that you spend half an hour on the road, and you can save 10 minutes there. There's still another 20 minutes to deal with.
Yeah, but you saved 10 minutes.
Correct. But what has happened there, I think sooner rather than later, that you will see a roundabout at Computer World. Not at Computer World, because that's a big one. There, and then the other one, the Corinth Road.
Yes.
Yeah. And another thing that I think can be done quite easily is that where the 2 lanes go into one, just a small retaining, well, not say small, a retaining wall. You get a couple metal sheet, what they call sheet piling. You drive it down along the road, because it's sort of a dip there. And if you can relieve that traffic there to reach the Corinth roundabout, that's a huge help.
Oh, yeah. Listen to me. For people that have traveled, I mean, I've done a little traveling.
Yeah.
For people that have traveled, and you know this road, the existence of this road now, currently, with this Closely Highway, you would appreciate, you would embrace that expansion on that road.
Yeah,
you would appreciate it. Doesn't matter how far it goes.
And then Champagne, we would have something we call a highway.
Correct.
Because when you come to a 2-lane road, one up, one down, and you call it a highway, and people from America or
they laugh at you.
Coming for the first time, they say, "But Peter, where's the highway?"
They laugh at you.
But I am a little jealous, because, again, coming from Vieux-Fort, and now speaking as a St. Lucian, who has promoted the development of Hewanora International Airport.
Yes.
Next budget, what I would like to see is for the Prime Minister and his government to begin to expand from Hewanora, the road that is, from Hewanora to Micoud, or at least as far up north as possible.
Well, I think before they do that, Peter, from what I'm hearing, they have a tentative arrangement already with a big Canadian company, the company that's actually doing the Millennium Highway, who is going to be doing a bolt to do the road from Dennery to Rosalie.
Oh, they do from Rosalie to Dennery to Rosalie first?
That will come first,
Okay.
Well,
because the Bardell Hill is the killer.
I would always put a tunnel through the Bardell before anything else. I don't know why I've been saying that for such a long time.
But the thing is, Champagne, you probably are right.
Yes.
But then people who go to finance it look at it themselves and say, that's what we want to do instead.
Yeah. Special good morning to you. Hello.
Yes. Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Yes. Good day. Good day.
Yes. On the point, I think it's Mr. Josie brought up there concerning the highway from the airport. This is something I mentioned sometime last year on a talk show, because what I've realized is that people are already building houses along the side there, Canals area, all that area there, and that area is some of the flattest land that we have.
And it would be
most ideal to make a highway, a falling highway, a proper one.
Yeah.
And it will be less costly
before
to build
the
there.
development takes place,
Yeah.
they need to do that, because it's already happening. There are several houses along that.
At least they need to demarcate the area, caller. They need to demarcate where the 4-lane is going to end. The width of the 4-lane.
Caller, we are looking at so many things, but we must appreciate this government for actually doing things that we could foresee our future in a good way. And a lot of us
appreciate that, Champagne.
Yeah.
But you see, what we really, really need to do is future plan.
Yeah.
And this future plan cannot be done with one party. Because it makes no sense when one party is in, the plans are there, and the other one comes in, and they get scrapped.
But what about the other one?
Things that we need to have a bipartisan approach, and especially when it comes to development. And because if we have to wait for people to start building on site, then you're going to create a bigger problem now to acquire land and property.
So caller, I respect your point, and I but if you have a party that is not visionary, because we have seen it. If you have a party that is not a visionary party, what do? You keep the one that is visionary. This is what you do.
But definitely, but we still need to find a way to reach some kind of agreement on a bipartisan level when it comes to certain things.
I agree with you,
education.
I understand the bipartisan stuff. I understand it.
Listen to that, Champagne and caller. One of the first things I said when I came to this radio program is that I believe that we should get a body of ideas, projects if you want, that both the United Workers' Party and the Labour Party should agree on. So regardless of which one forms the government, they already agree on this thing. But you know, these guys think they're so smart, they can't agree on anything with Shasni unless it's biting them personally.
So caller, permit me another minute of your time.
Sure.
So I listen, the bipartisan, everyone would love that. But here's the thing. Here we had the worst virus in our history, in our lifetime. And the guys have never came on board. How do you work with a people like that, caller?
Well, you have to move on.
That is my point. You have asked them.
Caller, you also have to keep trying different ways.
But how long would you continue to try, Brother Josie?
You keep on as long as you move on, and keep on.
And then you continue to get resentment from these people and you continue to try?
But look at how long Dr. Anthony
they are part and parcel of the group of
yes, they are, but they're not.
I want to make a contribution. Caller,
we keep moving on, but we have to keep reaching.
Caller, I want to make a contribution here.
Sure.
A very significant contribution, and I would like to get your input. We're going to take, for instance, the Huonora Airport. Now, one can really say that the Labour Party, first of all, it's actually the United Workers' Party that started it, because they were actually collected over $50 million when the Labour Party came in, okay? Yes. And they decided, no, they're not going to go. And imagine that the Labour Party stopped collecting the money, and in the 4 years, they lost $220 million. And you know who took the money? The airlines took the money.
Can you believe
now tell me something. How on God's earth can you do business with such a person? Now, what I'm saying, there's actually nothing wrong with the Labour Party. The Labour Party is a good party. It's been in power for 50, 60 years.
The people that are
correct. Sometimes you need a change of persons within the party to be able to come to a different... And what you're saying there now can probably work with people who are going to think differently.
Yes.
That is the problem, you know. Now imagine that. You have a second one. They get into power. The Labour Party gets into power. And what do? They go and sign an agreement with a foreign company to hand over Huonora Airport for 30 years. Imagine that. And listen to me very carefully. The SLASPA for the airport, that is the most valuable asset that produces money for the country. And they were going to give it to somebody for 30 years. When the current Prime Minister and the government told him, look at me, that is not the proper way to go. Because if we can borrow the money and do it ourselves, we can pay off the whole thing in 12 years. So just imagine if you gave it to somebody for 30 years, for 18 years, these people will be laughing at us, creaming off all the money, and we get nothing. And what did they say? Oh, they'll pay income tax. I mean, this is crazy.
Your cash cow.
Your cash cow.
Give it away.
So, I mean, but what you see, the contribution you made there, you're 100% right. I think I would love to see that. If you could, as Peter Josie says, if you could have an arrangement when we get in, then you have a sort of an agreement of whatever we do, but also it has to be sensible. You're not going to follow something that's a failure. Thank you.
All right, caller.
Caller, let me say something to you as I listen to Sir Michael. A former Minister of Education, Hunter Francois, used to say, in regards to the people that we are talking about now in the opposition, when you send a person to university who is a fool or a jackass, all you get when that person is qualified is a qualified jackass. They don't like the word jackass, and I'm not saying anyone is. But I'm saying you can have a lot of qualified jackasses who don't see further, especially when it comes to Huonora International Airport. How can a sensible government take the position to give this to a private sector person for 30 years.
Yes.
This is not the Labour Party of George Charles. This is not the Labour Party that Compton was in. This is not the Labour Party that Peter Josie and George Odlum and Alan Louisi were in, or Michael Pilgrim. That's a different Labour Party. It shouldn't be called Labour Party at all.
What should it be
what
called?
we have now at present.
If it was a case where the airport was not showing any signs of growth,
yeah,
maybe that's
exactly
correct.
Yeah.
But if it wasn't showing signs, no foreigner would take it.
You know what they should have done, caller? Let them run. Give away the OKE hospital for them to run.
Yeah.
Something that bleeds money, and let them fix it. That's what you should do.
But a private sector person would never do that, Colin,
Precisely.
and I'm sure you know that too.
Definitely, because profit is the bottom line. Unfortunately,
Thank
it's
you,
the bottom line for all
thank you,
businesses.
thank you.
So you're saying, caller, they should start look at this falling highway from
Yeah,
down in the
definitely
south?
they have to look at demarcation.
Yes,
because they
I
have
think they should demarcate the width of it, you know, so that people don't come too
Yeah,
close.
because people are encroaching closer and
Yeah,
closer to the edge.
There's already a lot of houses being built on the side of that road there already.
Yeah.
So that's something we
He's
need
talking
to
about
look
the
at.
main road, the Viewford
Yeah,
Highway.
future planning. We need to have
Yeah.
that plan down the line so that land is already allocated. People
Yeah.
cannot build so close to the.
And government, how much land does government have the authority on of the road? 8 feet? Is it 8
Something
feet?
like that. You have at least 8 feet.
But that's not enough space for government.
You know
to
something?
8 feet of land is just from here
Okay,
to
I'm
just outside
listening
the
up
door.
to
All
that.
right, caller, have a good one.
So, Michael, I
Yeah.
believe the two of us should write a letter to the Minister of Works or the Prime Minister.
Yeah.
Because the budget is being discussed now, so they have to
Yeah.
have some.
Beautiful morning to you. Hello.
Beautiful morning.
Yes, sir. Good morning.
morning to-
Oh, we have
Hi,
gone
good
into the
morning.
afternoon now. Yeah.
Afternoon.
Yes, it is.
Good afternoon,
Yeah.
Sir Michael, Peter.
Hi, good morning, good
I
afternoon.
enjoyed, I enjoyed the last discussion there and the exchange.
Thank you.
And I'm in support of what the young man said. But I want to see, Peter should know that the St. Lucia Labour, that is New Labour.
Yeah,
Don't
yeah,
forget
yeah.
They call themselves New Labour.
Yes, yes, yes.
So
Colin.
that has nothing to do with the old Labour, which I was part of
Yeah.
in 1957.
I forgot that name, New Labour. Yes, yes, you're right.
New Labour.
Yeah.
That's why we have all this problem we're having.
Yeah.
Don't matter what good it is for the benefit of St. Lucia and its people development, if they do not come with the idea and implement it, they will not accept anything from anybody else.
Yeah.
Because I could take you back to the old Dyer building. Right now, that place should be swinging.
Mm-hmm.
That should have employment. We should have a roundabout there because the tender documents had already gone out.
Caller, I'm so happy you're going down that road. Could you imagine you have a building there that has so much potential? You could say whatever you want. You could put all of the government offices in there. You could put a hotel there. And the former prime minister came back into office and put that place up for sale. I mean, this is a huge, huge property. We're talking about the Dyer Mall.
Yeah.
Some people said, oh, it had been there too long. All the steel and everything has been rotted in it and everything. But that place had potential. It still does. Because there's a company that have taken it over.
Yeah. Well,
That's
this
why
will
we
be
have
starting either the end of this, well, not, we're almost at the end of the month. Between now and February, the
Yeah.
work should start, you know?
Yeah.
They're just waiting on the people to move out, the vendors, you know?
Yeah,
They're prepared
yeah.
under those
I'll be one of the happiest. Not that I'm against anyone vending,
Yeah.
but this place there is
It's
a
mess.
dump.
Yeah, it's a dump.
I'm not ashamed to say that. I've said it before. This
Well,
place,
the new place there, they have some strict rules there because they put in the utilities and everybody has a number and they tell them how to place it.
so Michael,
You know,
I wish that would happen
But
because
you know where they've started.
I know where it is by the fire station. I deliberately drove up there,
Yeah.
and I've already been. Listen, people are already taking up shop.
Yeah.
And the way I'm seeing it being conducted, I believe it's going to come down to that same dump we have there.
And-
if it is not properly monitored,
Managed, has
if
properly
it is not
managed.
monitored,
Yeah.
it's going to come back to that same dump.
Okay.
You can't just.
Yeah, let the caller finish. So, Peter, yeah, go ahead, caller.
Now, let's go back to that new place they are preparing.
Uh-huh.
They are preparing the place, yet they have occupied the space.
That's my point. That is my point.
That is not how you do things professionally.
There are 4 vans there already.
Yes, I saw that.
I deliberately
saw
went up
that
there to see it.
already. I saw that. But why St. Lucians are so? You leave your vehicle where you're doing business currently. Let the people put the infrastructure,
Exactly.
the utilities.
Exactly.
I hope that's what is going to be done, that these people, the
And when
discipline
you
will
come
kick in.
Everything is there.
Yes, sir. I'm
There's
with
an
you.
old red van there that has been there for a little
Yes,
while.
and they're saying he was supposed to be there. I got the information on that. You know, I do my little homework every time now and then. They're saying that when the land was laid out because it affected him, so they allowed him to stay there. But there are 4 now.
That's the wrong thing you do. You have to
4 there
work
now.
on principle. If you violate that,
But I hope the
principle,
planning people
everybody
continue
will
to do
violate
what
it.
they're doing up there, you know.
Let's see what happens. Let's not jump into conclusions and let's see how it's going to turn out. But from what I'm seeing already, the 4 vans I'm seeing there, they are put in the manner that I'm seeing their position. I do not believe it's going to be anything differently. All right, my brother. Thanks a lot. Have a good one. We're going to do this. We have passed our time.
Yes, we have to head
So
off,
we want to. Next week, we're going to do this final call. That's the final call. All right, caller, you're the final call for today. Good afternoon.
Hello, good day.
Good afternoon, yes.
Brother Champagne,
Yes, sir.
how are you?
I'm doing good, thank you.
That's Willie there.
Oh, how you doing, my friend?
Not too bad.
All right, I have my guests here. You want to say good afternoon to them?
Yeah, I'm Mr. Josie and
Yes, sir. Michael, yeah.
Thank you so much, my brother.
I'm calling from the constituency of Little South.
Yes.
And,
Willie
I
dead.
am just happy to report now. I don't know if you're aware of what they call Son Nathaniel Bridge.
Of what?
Son Nathaniel Bridge. That is
Son Nathaniel. I've heard the name.
quarter to Fort North.
Yeah.
And then,
Oh, that's the bridge that had collapsed a few times? Yes.
exactly. Now we are going to have a brand new bridge, and I say thanks God for our current representation.
Wow. We need to ring the bell on that.
This thing has been there from, in fact, since I was not even upon planet Earth.
Mm-hmm.
I remember the last time in 1997 when the former Prime Minister, I think he used to visit in all 17 constituents. And he visited Son Nathaniel and said he was going to give them a new bridge.
Mm-hmm.
But he bypassed Son Nathaniel and he went to a place called Fokuli and built a bridge there for a member for Viewport North. And they call it Albert Bridge, whatever
Albert
they call
Bridge,
it.
yeah, we heard that, yes.
But they forget the main river, the 2 biggest rivers in St. Lucia, the Kotumasi and this one here. They forget that bridge and they went and built one in the constituency of member for Viewport North. State. So I am happy to report now that people of Nikut South, both Nikut South and Viewport North, will have a new bridge.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Is it already under construction or is it just...
The excavators, as a matter of fact, it was supposed to be demolished today.
Oh, great.
As I'm there, I'm reporting, I am writing for Nathaniel there right now.
Yes.
It was supposed to be demolished today, maybe later in the afternoon.
Yes, great
And
stuff.
then people will be used for the time being from Vigier to go to Bellevue to report to travel to that area.
And we all know the history of that bridge, caller. Can you imagine the government that awarded someone, a contractor, to build that bridge and it collapsed after it was completed in 2 days?
You know very well it was this particular gentleman, which I don't want to mention.
Right.
Don't mention names. He became an overnight contractor.
Yeah, overnight contractor.
And finally, when you got to know that bridge was collapsed all sort of rural, and they had to go back also.
And you know, don't tell me, caller, when these things happen, it cannot be a scientific thing. It cannot be over the counter kind of thing, over the table. There's always some cocoa baka crew when things like that happen. Always.
A lot of money is spent.
But of course, money down the drain. Whose money? Doesn't come from the politician's pocket. Or the,
right.
So again, I can report as well as the paving road between Deriso to Blanchard all the way to the Gigate Gap.
Yeah.
It's really starting very nicely.
Wow.
Yes, I saw that.
There is a couple
That's
of...
a road I used to be on very often.
These days, everybody's busy doing something.
Yes.
And then I must say, and this is where I draw the line with what we call quality representation.
Mm-hmm.
That is where the line needs to be drawn a bit, because for the past 40-something years, the road to Blanchard has never been paved after B&B did that road.
Wow.
And here you have just 4.5 years, our current representative, meaning the Prime Minister, already did that road. 4 berries, so they call Spring Road, 4 Guape, already concrete. Blanchard Road is paved. In the community center in Blanchard, the playing field in Deriso, and so many different outlet roads in that country. We have never been there before. And I don't want people to do that. I know the Labour Party before, anytime they did a football, they would say for the first time. But I don't want to use for the first time, which I can use it if I want. For the first time, we have ever seen development like that in that country.
Oh, that's for sure. That's a fact.
And it is serious. It is on the ground. It is evident so that anybody, those media outlets, some of those biased ones, you can come to that constituency and video it.
Kola, you know what's the difference between this government as opposed to governments before? Footpaths were being built, although the spaces were there to make those roads motorable roads. But footpaths were built where people, it was so hard on their knees with steps. Today, you are not seeing these things. You are seeing motorable roads throughout all of the communities of St. Lucia. And this is, I need to ring the bell on that because this is a huge difference.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Let me again praise the Prime Minister of St. Lucia for his vision for this country. And then St. Lucia deserves to get another representation from the with the United Workers' Party again to complete the job. This government have done so well. You cannot remove this government, not in the government, and put persons who does not even know what they're going to do tomorrow.
Thank you, Colin.
Cannot go like that in this country.
Yeah, it's not going to happen, Colin. I don't.
And I even say sometimes that the Prime Minister, Honorable Alan Shapley, he came too late. This man is a man of action.
Oh,
not
for
a man
sure.
who want talk and all kind of crap and
Yeah.
nonsense. He's a man that is on the move. Let's go and make things happen.
That is right.
That is what we need in this country. I am not here for the constituency. I know everybody commits to the club. I don't give a damn.
There's nothing such as that, Colin.
I am support development. I will stand for development, and I will support somebody that is developing his country for his people and not for his own self.
Amen.
And just before I get off this air, and I heard the comment from the Labour Party about Corona. I believe these people have nothing to say on that. They don't have no moral authority to speak on behalf of nothing when it comes to COVID.
Thank you very much, Kola. I've been saying that for months.
They cannot.
Thank you very much.
They are against it. They have never supported it at the beginning.
Thank you.
Now, the government are trying all its best to see that both the economy picks up and the people of St. Lucia follow and address the system.
Thank you, Kola. I give you the bell on that again. Yes.
Nobody. He's the leader of the country,
Yes.
and he do what he wants. But make sure when I say what we want, it go with the confine of the law.
Yeah.
That is what I support.
Well, he doesn't have to do what he wants. He have to do what is necessary, what is correct.
What the people want to see.
Yes. Yes.
That is what he has to do.
Yes.
Thank you, Colin. Thank you.
That's right. Thanks a lot, Colin.
Close the country now. They all will be tried. You cannot pay this, you cannot pay civil servant, you cannot pay that.
Yeah.
But now they all now close the country, close it. So if things go bad, then they can get a hand.
They want the country closed and they're having parties with.
Caller, no patriotic St. Lucian can be against what you just said there.
Yes.
None.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
So I praise you guys, Mr. Shafi and Jude, Mr.
Josie.
Yeah.
Peter Josie.
So, will you give us a tour? Will you give us a tour if we come down on Sunday? Well, we have been promised.
Something anytime you want to come here, I am there. My ride, I can drive
Yes.
you around. I can show you what is. There are so many small little outlet roads around.
Yes.
We call monobasin and those places which
Yes.
are not familiar with.
Okay.
And these are just brand new concrete roads that just
Right.
that was last Saturday weekend. It
Wow.
will end up at 8 in the night.
Wow.
So things are happening, and I'm serious about it. I am not those person who just want to because I support a party
Right,
and just
right.
want to give the party kudos, which and they have not seen any state.
All right. Well, we'll put it together and we'll let you know when we're coming down. So you give us a tour. I hope you have.
And I wish something like you were saying all the time. These fellas get 17 knots.
That's what they'll get. That's a fact. They will get 17 now. I just need to.
17 knots because the people of St. Lucia have seen exactly. I mean, they plan. They mob bend. Imagine these fellas are going to the lowest of the poor.
Yeah.
Just to create insanity problems so that can make them get into power.
All right,
I am
Colin.
telling them there is no more Coupe and Coupe again. They cannot beg farmers to put them in office.
Exactly.
So they need to show slate and come clean if you want to come out and represent people. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Make sure you have some Quibish Basse when we come down. Eh? Okay. All right, beautiful. All right, so Lucia, unfortunately, we have come to the end of the calling part, but Sir Michael always keeps us on a little bit of any new developments? Anything on St. Jude's? Well, the Honorable Guy Joseph told us the plumbing is almost finished.
Yeah,
almost
plumbing
completed.
is almost finished. It's going in 2 phases. It's at the front end and the back end. The front end is already finished. They're going in the back end now.
Wow.
Yesterday, they pressure test the pipes.
Wow.
They had to do it for 2 days. And then I think this afternoon, around 3 o'clock, if there were no leaks, then everything will be covered up. And I think he said on Monday, by Wednesday next week, the floor will be cast. Yeah, and then the side walls are going to start to
Claddings
go
is
up.
going up.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're looking like we're ahead of time.
Yeah. Well, they've had it would be much further, Champagne, but they may want to say we're just using COVID, but the COVID had really set back the company because a lot of the ingredients for making the slabs were late in coming.
Right.
They said they were coming, they didn't come.
Yeah.
Then you had although you have most St. working on the job, there are 4 or 5 technicians, top quality people from the factory who they couldn't stay. Canada didn't let them come. When they came, they had to go into quarantine.
Yes.
So it really has been a bit of a mess up there, you know? But it will come to an end.
Yeah, all that were good delays, big
So,
delays.
I want to thank St. Lucia. I think we had a very good show today.
Yes,
And
yes.
also, we discussed a few topics which I think needed to be discussed, especially the one with the vaccine and also with the courts. So hopefully next time when we come, we can get a bit more information and take one step closer to reality.
Are you taking the vaccine once it's available?
Oh, definitely.
All right. What about you, my friend?
Yeah, we have discussed that, and I said I'll take it before both of you. But Sir Michael, if you're doing it according to seniority, might come before me.
That is correct.
But I just want to say, Champagne, that I'm very grateful to be here today. It's a nice show.
Yeah.
And I want to say to the people of St. Lucia, put yourself in the position of the country. If you have a friend, every time he comes and you all meet, you all are going to drink, you all going to party, you all enjoying yourselves. He comes to look for you. Sometimes even when you don't feel like going out, he's prepared to go out with you. He's your friend.
Yeah.
The day you fall sick, you don't see this friend. The second day, he's not around. Third day, a week passes. He doesn't show up, he doesn't call. And that is when you need him the most. When you get well, or during the time of your illness, what will you think of this friend? You know he knows you are not well. You might need him to run and get some medication for you, go and get some groceries for you. The time you need him most is when you're down. You don't see him or her. What do you think your position would be on that friend? Champagne, that is exactly the question the people of St. Lucia must ask about the Labour Party.
Yes, you have to disassociate
When they
yourself.
the people have been in distress, up to now, the former leader that has been Prime Minister for 15 years, the people of Beaufort has voted for him about 5 times, stayed quiet, not a word. People have died, not a word. The only time he opened his mouth was when he had no excuse. It was impossible for him to stay quiet. All the others have remained quiet. When St. Lucia needed them the most to work with the government, to strengthen their supporters, to give them hope, that is the time they stayed quiet. What kind of people are these? How can people of good conscience look to these guys for help? How can you do that if you're a decent citizen with any sense in your head?
The analogy you make with the friendship thing, it blends perfectly with them. Perfectly.
You know, Champagne, this thought just come to my head. I didn't read that in any book.
I know.
But it is clear that that is the analogy that has to be made. When the people of St. Lucia needed the Labour Party the most under the coronavirus, pressure, no food, that was not working, nothing.
They disappeared.
Where were you?
They disappeared.
And now you come to say that you're waiting for elections because you're going to take people for votes?
Because we're in
I'll
the
tell you
election
something.
year.
Some days I wish St. Lucians were more like Jamaicans in a certain way.
Yeah, I know what
You
you
know?
said.
You know
I
what I'm
what
going
you- I know
So
what you-
I end the program today
Yes, sir.
on that.
I know
Okay?
where you're coming
Thank you.
from.
Bye.
All right, gentlemen, thank you once again, and we will see you until next Wednesday, God's willing. We will be back here with the program with our 2 statesmen. St. Lucia, hope you had a great morning into the afternoon. We have gone into overtime. with our two brilliant minds in the persons of Sir Michael Chastney and Mr. Peter Josie, and we're looking forward to having them on next Wednesday at about 9:30, 10 o'clock. So, St. Lucia, we want to say thank you very much for tuning in, and let's do a little bit of Neil Diamond, and then we will be right back.